I fucking misclicked so much. Welcome to the Fluff, sexy bitches, and welcome to some SCP reading. I got myself some tea, and I hope I can actually talk normally today because I accidentally bit the inside of my cheek, and I bit it very hard because it is definitely in pain. It shouldn't be too bad. But yeah, it hurts. That's all I have to say. It hurts like a bitch, and I even tried to eat something just a moment ago, and doesn't matter if it's salty, sour, sugary, bitter, anything like that. It scraped against the wound and it just hurt. But as I said, let's hope that doesn't last. There we go. That should work, right? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Ha! It's a bit of a problem if it doesn't actually recognize. Also, the music the sound is a bit loud. There we go. It needs to recognize the window I want to capture, which it doesn't. There we go. This works. Yeah, this works. Nice. Awesome. Henry is actually, you know what? Yeah. That way you can see Henry a bit better. So who is in stream right now? Who's in the chat? Who's in the chat? Give me a heads up. All right. Still time for option screen. I'm not gonna delay too long. I usually start reading by the 5-minute mark anyway, just to have time to tell everybody or ask people if they want to watch. It's a shame that my best mate doesn't have time because he's usually works at a bar around this time. She seems a bit stressed, so I'm not gonna ask her. I don't want to stress out more. Oh well. I think that's basically it. Let's get this party. Wait, hold on. Yes, stream is on. Let's get this party in here. Okay. I think, yeah, we'll start now. Event officially starting right now. SCP-880 Trapped Winter. Okay, here's what I think it is. I'm gonna think very simple idea. It's either A room, or B, a space where winter never leaves. It's always snowing, always ice cold, and I will also rank it. I'm not sure if I would rank it Euclid, because I was about to say Euclid because you can't really, explain that to people. Unless it's in an area where cold temperature is natural. Like in the top and high mountains in somewhere in the Himalayas, then I can see that that's possible to be like, oh, up here it's just so cold. It's always snowing. But it could also just be safe, because if it's only an area where it's just winter's happening and nothing else, then it's not too bad. But let's see what it is. It is Euclid. Special containment procedures. A perimeter has been established 5 kilometers from the edge of SCP-880, and non-authorized personnel entering this area are to be detained, questioned, and issued Class A amnestics. Several observation outposts have been constructed in the surrounding area to provide overwatch and to alert perimeter patrols should civilians be approaching. Due to the domicile nature of the effects surrounding SCP-880, the airspace within an 8-kilometer radius has been declared unsafe for flying with corresponding cover plans. So it is not a room, blank by the way. It's not a room. It is not a room. It is definitely a space, and it looks like it's not a small space. Not like a a circular space. It looks probably more like a cylinder. So, which you cannot fly. Well, maybe it's not a cylinder. Maybe it's a rectangle. Maybe it's a square. But it's definitely an area that's just. That must. Yeah, I wonder how that's. Looks like they have to constantly. Pyramid has been stuff. Yeah, 5. That is. But imagine that. Imagine if a plane just flies over it and you can't do anything about it. It's just. It goes there, and you just look up there like, God, we gotta give amnestics to like at least 200 people. SCP-880 is a town established in Quebec, Canada. So like, see, Canada is like an area that's not always, but can be quite cold. Various signs and documents found within SCP-880 list the town's name as blank blank, found in 18 blank, with 3 pieces of redacted and redacted within SCP-880 support 19 blank as the date with which it was abandoned. A census document 880-18 found within the city hall lists the population as blank. SCP-880 has an observed effect extending to blank kilometers. That's a double digit. That's big. Covering redacted. All roads and entrances into SCP-880 have been removed or altered so that they join with existing roadway outside of SCP-880. SCP-880 exhibits several abnormal characteristics, most notably what appears to be nearly constant blizzard. There's a footnote. I can just read it down here. Due to the similarity of this phenomena to the abilities possessed by SCP-2082, investigation into potential connection between the 2 objects is ongoing. So there's another blizzard causing SCP. Of course there is. In 7,000 SCPs, there's probably multiple that causes blizzards. So, okay, constant blizzard breaking for an average of 1 to 2 hours daily. 1 to 2 hour daily blizzard, while not bad, can be problematic if you're in that area during the blizzard time. That's a long time to be stuck inside a blizzard. An hour is already long. 2 hours? Analysis of this event has determined SCP-880 experiences no snowfall, and intense winds have produced various squalls which cause the illusion of a blizzard. Oh. Interesting. So there's actually no snow, but so what is squalls? What is squalls? Definition, please. A sudden violent gust of wind or localized storm, especially one bringing rain, snow, or sleet. Okay. Various squalls which cause the illusion of a blizzard. So basically, maybe in the squall itself it feels like snow is landing, but then when the blizzard is over, you see there's absolutely no snow around. Okay, so that makes it a bit easier to keep it hidden if it doesn't look like there's any snow there. Because imagine if it was constant winter, but so there's like an area that just always has snow. Doesn't matter if it's in the hottest peak of summer. but it's still weird to walk in an area where it's summertime and then suddenly you feel this freezing cold air and it feels like snowfall, but there isn't any. So yeah, that can be a bit harder to explain. Despite the potential of snow drifts within SCP-880, no level of snow deeper than 16 centimeters has been found within SCP-880 or in the surrounding area. Okay, so there is snow. Never mind. Anything entering SCP-880 during a storm or within when a storm begins has so far proven to be irrecoverably lost, despite extensive search and rescue efforts. Okay, so you don't want to be in there when the storm happens, when the blizzard happens. I mean, you don't want to be in a blizzard naturally anyway, but of course, an SCP-style blizzard, you don't want to be in that at all. GPS location fails shortly after the storm begins, transmission and rescue lines are cut, and radio communication becomes impossible due to the overwhelming interference. Current tallies set the number of personnel lost to SCP-880 at 32. That's a lot of people gone. It almost feels like a movie scene, you know, like when in movies when there's like a blizzard and somebody's like, I have to go out, and then like they walk through and then the snow just makes the outline disappear. But in those movies, you know, they still tracking. They're still trying to get help or come back eventually. Well, in this case, you're gone forever. No more chance. Despite lack of occupation, SB-880's structure have not shown any sign of decay in the years which they have been monitored by the Foundation. Items discovered within SB-880 occasionally have large temperature variances compared to their surroundings. Similarly, they show no evidence of colonization by microorganisms. Fireplaces will have glowing charcoal remains present within them, and food left in the open will not rot. This effect appears only limited to SB-880, and after removal, objects are subject to being damaged and to experiencing decay. Kinda like being frozen in place. Kinda like, yeah, cryogenically frozen. Well, in this case, paranormally frozen. Which seems almost like a cryogenic freeze, but it isn't. Addendum 1. On date 11th 9th 19 blank, the second team, C-File CE8802, to attempt exploration of SB-880 was lost when an unexpected storm began surrounding SB-880. Although recovery failed, a line being used to track the team had been sliced on the edge of the storm. An analysis of the freight showed evidence of glass shavings within the wire. Since initial recovery by the Foundation, the census of SB-880 has increased by 32. Which we already... So it has increased by 30, so it's now double. Because here's this current tally set the number of personnel lost to SCP-880 at 32, and here's the since initial recovery by the Foundation census of this has increased by 32. So, if I'm not mistaken, 64 people are lost. Unless this was supposed, this here is supposed to be this sentence down here said differently, which would be weird. Okay. Trapped winter. I'm very much a winter type of person. I love the cold and the snow, and just seeing snowfall and having colder nights. I like that a lot. But I gotta say, the risk of forever vanishing in a fake blizzard doesn't sound nice. I mean, blizzard again. A blizzard itself doesn't sound nice either. A blizzard isn't supposed to be nice. But yeah, little people, very simple. They're just tiny people, like really, like fucking. They have a whole society, a whole city that they somehow made with running water, electricity. Yeah, buildings and all that. But they're like the size of that. The size of this. That's how big they are. But they managed to create a running, functioning society. Hey, I'm not. Hey. I might not be that far off. I might have guessed correctly. I didn't guess if they were Euclid or not. Oh well, I don't go guess that all the time, because at the end, I don't even know what half of the things could be from the title alone. Special containment procedures. All instances of SCP-881 are stored in Daleth basement of Site 35. Daleth basements, air and water filters must be checked and cleaned weekly, as well as after any research, extraction or insertion. SCP-881 instances grow their own food provided the artificial sunlight is continually functioning. I should finish this. I usually have like the tea bag inside the cup. And this is really good tea, but it's one of those rare teas where like the longer you let the bag in there, the more of a nasty aftertaste the tea gets. So I like the tea, but I can't let the bag inside there too long. SCP-881 is composed of 9,891 instances, each representing part of the former human, animal, and plant life of the cities of blank and blank, which underwent a spatio-physical transformation During the containment and destruction of SCP blank D, the instances of SCP-881 have been shrunk to a fraction of their former size. The scale varies from subject to subject, such that the largest human is roughly 15 centimeters tall, and the smallest is roughly 2.5 millimeters tall. Well, 15 centimeters, yeah, that's I would say that this is 5, so yeah, so like this, maybe? Yeah, I would say. Although 50 centimeters is like, nah, it's probably bigger than this, actually. Yeah, it's probably a bit bigger than this, just a tiny bit. So this is the tallest human, but the smallest human is very small, 2.5 millimeters. That is, you can barely see that. I mean, you can. It's just like maybe if you don't pay attention, you might accidentally step on that person. The physical conditions that allow for SCP-881's continued existence have been detailed by Dr. Forbes in Dirt Expunged. The Forbes effect allowed the SCP-881 instances to breathe regular air, metabolize regular or differently scaled food and water, and otherwise interact with matter in different scales. SCP-881 instances can communicate verbally, though the smallest instances are nearly inaudible to anyone but themselves. Self-aware instances of SCP-881 are numbered individually in order to keep track of social relationships. Since the instant and subsequent isolation, instances of SCP-881 have formed a distinct social structure between themselves. Instances, so we have -2166 and -1144 are currently nominated the leaders and managers of the population. Excerpts of incident log. Interview 12. Interviewer Dr. Demmer. Begin log. Interviewer. Okay. Mr. Hexton, you assured me that the sterilization procedure were carried through 100% of the population? Yes, well, sorry. No, it's hard to keep track of what the injures do in public, let alone in private. Note, inches is the term of SCP-881 instances used for those of themselves below 5 millimeters in size. You could have just called them the millers, because inches sounds like they're like the size of an inch, or because like an inch is not 15 centimeters, so it would have made sense. But okay, I guess not. Interviewer, okay, yeah. Before I go into length regarding the meaning of 100%, Mr. Hexton, let me point out that we have a record of 2 new instances on the 5 centimeters to 10 centimeter range. I honestly don't know what happened, Chief. I saw the doctor clip one of those women, and he assured me the other was just the same. If these couples do not report on how they bypass sterilization, we will consider more intuitive means, Mr. Hexton. Do not think we won't. Hey, Chief, these are blank citizens. They are all stressed. They want to know what you guys are doing to get us to regular size. A schedule or whatever you scientists use, you know? You are not blank citizens any longer, and you will not, and you will know when we deem it proper. Now, if I hear of one more child, we're cutting all entertainment feeds. With all respect, Chief, I think that just makes things worse. Yeah. See, this is my friend and I discussed this yesterday. Like the doctors, like, we get it. It's a stressful job, and you have to like keep things under control. But these are people that were done to this happened to them involuntarily. Because after during the containment and destruction of one of the SCPs that you had in containment, this happened to them. So, of course, they kind of stressed out. And some people, during stress, a man and a woman, or man and man, or woman and woman, of course, they wouldn't care if a man or man and a woman would have sex with each other, because then that doesn't lead to having a baby. But I'm just saying, anybody during stress, when they're with somebody they're attracted to, sometimes that just leads to this shit happening. So maybe if you're a bit more nicer to them, they will be a bit more understanding. Memorandum -C 331 or 331. Forbes. Wait. Yes, Forbes is a whole. Is this tone really necessary, Dammer? These people are traumatized enough as it is. SCP are not people, Forbes. Did you skip basic personal instructions? Heavens, half of them still think they're getting home someday. Now that's inhuman. Also, they're not. There are people. There are people that got affected by another SCP's thing that you guys had in control. There are people that got their lives ruined because of the Foundation. Which, by the way, if I had to recall to you what SCP Foundation stands for, is Secure, Contain, Protect. You didn't do the protecting really well now, did you? Now what you can do is secure them and contain them, but protect them as well and help them actually figure out how to get back to normal instead of treating them like shit. Request estimate. It's not estimated time arrival, but that's something I guess not. ETA 55. Continuity of research on reversal of Forbes effect. Status rejected by 057. What? Why? Why would you reject that? Well, you're worried that you will go back to normal and then tell people you have amnestics. Just do that. Just get them back to normal. Get them back home. This is you guys' fuck up. This is a fuck up done by your hands. What's it actually rated? Oh, this is, yeah. I can see why it definitely has like very, like, it makes you have like some controversial. No, it's not controversial. It shows the darker side of the Foundation. They literally caused this, and instead of trying to fix it, they're like, nah, we're just gonna contain this. Incident K6. In the past months, 2 researchers, Dr. Blank, as well as 6 D classes were doctored, which previously have been in contact with SCP-881, have reported to medicals with cases of ulcers and internal bleeding in the lungs, inner ear and other cavities that could be exposed to the air of the basement. Security changes post-incident K6. Ingesting or inhaling matter affected by the Forbes effect may cause cellular damage to living beings. SCP-881 matter reassigned to biosafety level 3. Interview 20. So this was interview 12, so 8 interviews later. Dr. Demmer again, fuck me. I don't like him. Wait, is this the same? Yeah, it's the same dude. We have not managed to replicate the source of the contamination from SCP-801 yet. The filters show no foreign matter, yet we lost 2 more D classes. Until we solve this puzzle, you're in lockdown. You know, we could help you with that. We have some very clever people down here. You're not researchers. Dash 2166. You're test subjects. I misspeak. You're research material. Ah, but I did get a word of something you scientists couldn't figure out. The unexplained pregnancies. Yes? Turns out the surgeon been training henchmen as helpers, and he's been suing the women back as kind of underground resistance. No need for catheters, right? When a guy can just crawl up there and... You will deliver this man's resignation immediately. Next week we're initiating radiotherapeutic sterilization of your entire population. What? That's dangerous. You can't do that to us. Be happy we don't throw the whole lot of you into the incinerator. We've been tolerating more than our share of inconveniences and respect that you were a human race, humans once. But this is enough. It's time for you to act your size. Very well, Chief. Sir, we'll get ready. You're a dick. Incident K8, data expunged. Log OK8-32. Oh, it's Demmer. Fucking bypass side lockdown. Can anyone hear me? Damn ants hiding under our nose hairs this whole time. Think you're fucking clever now. Couldn't find dumb contaminants in the air if the contaminant can see it coming and hide. I'm bleeding off every pore. Call the O5. Nuke this fucking place. What's in my eye? Security changes past incident K8. All air, food, and water inside 35 to be decontaminated at 5/9 biological level and cycles. Surviving affected personnel to be screened for cellular damage and remain quarantined pending full decontamination. SCP-801 matter is reassigned to biosafety level 4 and is banned for research until containment procedures are revised. Minimal size of SCP instances to be revised pending examination of captured instances of SCP dash 9892 through 34,416. I'm just gonna say this right here, right now. That was karma, bitch. That was you treat 9,000 people like as test subject, which you said, and even all research material. You treat them like that, and then you tell them you're gonna get you're going what was it? It was go back. Radiotherapy sterilization, which, as he says, is dangerous. It's not good for a human to go through that. But you're like, oh, boo-hoo. You can count yourself lucky if then you don't get killed immediately. It's like, what? My dude, these are people. These are people affected by something that your foundation has caused. As Forbes said, it's inhumane or inhuman how you treated them. So, honestly, well deserved that he died. You treat almost 10,000 people like that. Of course they're gonna get pissed at you. Of course they're gonna arrange somehow that you're gonna end up dead. Because you have been treating them like shit. I'm not saying that killing him is a good thing. Because at the end, those people have now blood on their hands. But it's definitely self-defense. It's definitely a case of self-defense. A very obscure case of self-defense. A machine. Well, fuck. There's like 50 machines in this that I read throughout these SCP stories. I don't know. I saw a picture of cogs and gears, so I guess it's supposed to like it's an SCP that looks like it doesn't do anything because it's just cogs and gears, but it somehow does something that it's not supposed to be able to. I don't know, like produce oxygen, even though it's like a pure machine, or it produces water, even though there is no way for this to like absorb water or create water. Something like that. It's like a machine. It looks like a bunch of cogs and gears. It doesn't make any sense, but somehow it magically creates something that seems impossible. 3 euclids in a row. This is a big one. 3 euclids in a row, by the way. SCP-882 is to be kept in a fluid environment at all times, consisting of no less than 40% seawater. Objects to be kept suspended by non-metallic means, currently cotton fiber line that is to be changed daily. Objects also to be checked daily for any signs of rust flaking. If any part of SCP-882 appears uncoated with rust, it must immediately be immersed in a 100% seawater solution. Water must be taken directly from the ocean. Reduce concentration only when the object is again coated in rust. So it needs to be, I guess, because rusty means it's like it doesn't usually work as well. So it's trying to like, the rust will probably stop its process, maybe. No metal may be placed in containment area. Only organic materials are allowed in containment area. And any contact with SCP-882 requires the use of thick cotton gloves. Any metal making contact with it is to be heat severed, melted down, and kept immersed in 100% seawater in a separate area. Any auditory issues reported by staff must be reported immediately, and affected personnel must submit to a full psychological examination, and depending on results, either transferred to another facility or permanent containment at expunged. Description: SCP-882 appears to be a random assembly of gears, cables, pulleys, screws, and belts, all made of an amalgam of various metals. Object size at time of recovery was approximately 87 cubic meters. That is pretty big. Current size is approximately 12 Current size is approximately 12, so it shrank down. I'm not dumb, right? SCP-82 runs quickly in seawater. No identifiable energy source has been found, but all components will begin to move if not coated in rust. SCP-82 is completely silent at all times, no matter what level of activity SCP-82 reaches. That must be so bizarre to look at. Can you imagine you like see this whole 12 cubic meter size machinery doing its thing, like moving, rolling, but there's absolutely no sound. Any metal touching the object will become permanently affixed to it, and over a period of a few days become a new part of the object. Organic matter remains unaffected. SCP-82 is extremely resilient with tensile strength and toughness above those of aircraft-grade titanium alloys. Alloyed by weight, even though its composition appears to be random alloy of iron, tin, gold, and other metals, some as of yet unidentified. Extreme focused heat must be applied over several hours to cut even a small portion free of the main assembly. Persons remaining in the vicinity of the object for prolonged periods have developed auditory hallucinations while near the object, mainly the sound of grinding and clicking. The sound intensifies and is abated only by throwing metal into the object. Subjects in advanced states of psychosis have thrown themselves into the object, resulting in almost instant death by crush. I cannot imagine looking at this giant cube of gears and just be like, I want to be part of this. Yeah. And then just dead. The body is often drawn in and impossible to recover. That reminds me of the giant room of only pipes and like shift. I wonder if those are related. SCP-82 was recovered from a location at the northeast coast of Banks Island. Area was barren of all metal and metallic ore in a 1 mile radius. SCP-82 was found at the geometric center of the area. SCP-82 had become submerged in seawater at the time of discovery. A small town was found nearby, abandoned for several years. SCP-82 was removed and shortly started to flake of rust, causing the very parts to begin motion. After several accidents, Dr. Gears authorized SCP-2519 to be played on loop, which successfully reduced the object's motion, enabling a safe access. SCP-82 was then cut down and contained on site. SCP-82 is not to be brought into the vicinity of SCP-271 or any subject possibly contaminated by SCP-217. So let's see what those two are again. I wonder if one of them is the pipe room. Because that would make sense for me if that was the case, but who knows. 217. The clockwork virus, of course, yes, and 271. Inscript disk. Oh, it's an instruct that infects unknown symbols to the object in its surrounding. It was sized from the church. Yes. Okay. Oh, interesting that he does. Does this thing do something with that? Maybe it's just too risky because it might like be a fusion at the end. Please review interview 882-1 for further information, which we'll do right away. Okay. Interviewed Richard Wright. Interviewed Dr. Gears. Richard Wright is identified as a survivor from the small community near the initial recovery location of SCP-82. Begin audio log 13-4. Please, take a seat. State your name for the record, please. Richard Logan Wright. Everyone calls me Rich, though. Excellent, thank you. Mr. Wright, do you recall the date when you first saw the object in question? God, when was it? I'm not really sure. It was a while ago. Alan found it first, wrecked his boat on it. He told a few of the other fellas about it, said they could sell it for a bundle for scrap. We all thought it was a junk of a jet or a cargo ship. At what point did the device start operating? Ah, my cheek hurts. That's not what Mr. Wright said. The next day, damn thing shook off just like a dog with fleas. Started spinning slow, then sped up. By the time I saw it, it was really running. Jimmy tried to get close to try and see what was powering it, or why it was so quiet, but he slipped. Got a bad cut over his eye and got the hell out of there. Alan seemed kinda off. Kept asking us if we were hearing anything. Miss Parker thought part of it was gold, even tried to jam part of it with a pipe to get at it. The pipe stuck fast and smacked her a good one with the gear it was on spun and smacked her a good one when the gear it was on spun around. After that, people mostly kept away. Were there any other incidents of people being injured or hearing noises? Not at first, that's the thing. It was so damn quiet. Everyone kind of forgot about it for a while. Alan was keeping it in an old storeroom by the dock, and nobody really went out there much. He started looking bad, said he couldn't sleep, that he kept hearing that thing grind away. Father Pat started dropping by, tried to talk to him, told him to get rid of it. He was gone for a couple of days, then suddenly the two of them turned up together, happy as clams. Subject trails off, shaking slightly. Mr. Wright? Subject rubs his face and shakes head. Okay, let me just do the same thing. I'm fine, sorry. So Father Pat and old Alan show up, fresh as daisies. Say they got the thing figured out. I wasn't paying that much attention. This whole thing had me spooked. But hearing stuff from the storeroom, grinding and squealing really quiet. Anyway, they said some damn thing about it being from somewhere else. That God made it. That was it for me, and I left. Did you believe them? What? That was from God? No. I don't know. I didn't really know what to think. This damn machine kept spinning away. No power to it, and eating metal too. That poor Mrs. Parker hit with it. It turned into a giant screw shaft. It looked like it had always been there. More people started getting interested, started listening to Alan and Father Pat. Told everyone to bring metal to it. Told them the gears were the voice of God. That it grew louder as we turned away, and softer as we brought it offerings. Did you bring metal to it as well, or spend any extended period of time near the object? Subject is silent for several seconds. The hell does that matter? You could hear this thing all over town. Got to be folks couldn't even sleep, just clanking, grinding, screaming at all hours of the night. Giving it metal helped. God damn it! I didn't want to. I know it wasn't God. I never said it was. Everyone else was falling over themselves to make Alan and Father Pat happy. I just wanted some damn sleep. There's not a goddamn thing wrong with that. Subject bangs table with hands. He's highly upset and breathing heavily. Sir, I would request that you calm yourself. I'm asking questions, not accusing. Please return to your seat. Take several deep breaths, okay? I'm sorry. Over a couple of weeks, everything got fed to that thing. It was just how things were. We're pretty isolated, you know. It's not like we have much else. We just make a couple trips out to the storehouse and toss any metal you happen to find in. Always seem to be people there just watching it. It tore a hole in the roof after a while. Father Pat started getting strange, telling us it wasn't enough. I think the noise was getting to him. Said it needed something more meaningful. Subject trails off. Mr. Wright? It's time for 48 seconds. I came in one night because I heard people shouting from the storehouse. Father Pat was leading a prayer to this thing, but it didn't sound like any prayer I knew. People were coming up and he bent over them. He screamed and then he turned to that big mass of metal. I thought he was giving communion until I saw the pliers in his hands. I'm sorry, pliers? He was yanking up people's fillings. He was pulling out their fucking teeth and feeding them to that thing. Subject was shouting, appearing highly upset. He started screaming about it not being enough, that it needed more. But there wasn't any more. There was barely any metal left anywhere. Then he pointed at Alan. He said he was hiding metal from the great machine. Alan screamed that he didn't have anything. Father Pat said he had a metal joint in his hip. Everyone got up at once. Oh God. They grabbed him. Everyone just grabbed him. He started screaming. Subject crying and shouting. He kept screaming and nobody cared. I saw his arm go in, saw all his fingers break and pull the rest of the arm in, and I ran. What could I do? Jesus, I couldn't stop it. There were too many, and that thing was screaming, and Alan was screaming, and Father Pat, Subject falls to the floor, sobbing and shouting. This interview is concluded. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Security, please see Mr. Wright out. And log closing statement. Mr. Wright attempted suicide shortly after interview. Subject is currently being held on suicide watch and for observation. Dude, no! I mean, like, good that you don't want him to die, but don't keep him for. I mean, give him amnestics. Why is amnestics like sometimes used all the time and sometimes it isn't used at all? Damn, that is. I wonder if this is like similar to the one of the ones that was also a giant machine that grew, I believe, grew in size, but I don't. Extra dimensional beehive. I assume it looks like it's like a beehive, but color and shape-wise, it's weird. It's like blue, and instead of hexagons, it's a triangular, and the bees inside there look way different. Like they might look like green fishes with wings, something. I'm literally just spitballing. Not a Euclid. This has been 4 Euclids in a row. Special containment procedures. Access to SCP-883 is limited to level 2 and over personnel who have been confirmed not to possess allergies to bee stings. All personnel entering the SCP-883 apiary must wear standard beekeeper gloves and hooded suit. All personnel. Okay, so it's just a beehive that just teleports between different dimensions, or is connected to different dimensions. All personnel entering SCP-883 itself must be equipped with a safety line attached to one of the metal rods on the northern wall of the apiary. No personnel may venture more than 2 kilometers into SCP-883 without authorization from 2 level 4 personnel. All personnel planning on venturing more than 2 kilometers into SCP-883 are also required to do so in groups of 2 or more. Do not remove bee or honey specimens from the apiary without prior authorization from Dr. Blank. Description: SCP-883 is a large fixed-frame beehive contained in a wooden shed approximately 3 meters tall, 1 meter wide, and 2 meters deep on the outside. The inside of SCP-883 appears to be much larger than the shed's other dimension. Oh, that's with the extra dimension, okay. With layers of honeycomb on the walls of the hive surrounding passages that extend for at least 8 kilometers from the entrance. So, yeah. So, it's like a decently sized shed from the outside, but once you walk in, suddenly like, poof. The interior of the hive is arranged in a maze-like fashion, although no dead ends have yet been encountered. The bees inside SCP-883 do not match any known species of genus Apis. Hey, at least I was right that it's not normal bees. Most disturbingly, bees found further into SCP-883 appear to be very different from normal honeybees. Bees found more than 1.5 kilometers into SCP-883 possess 1 pair of wings more than normal honeybees. Bees found more than 2 kilometers are highly aggressive and possess a toxic sting that has failed to respond to any treatment administered so far. Several specimens recovered from more than 7 kilometers into SCP-883 do not appear to be insects at all, possessing they're expunged. The honey extracted from SCP-883 also varies in composition depending on how far from the entrance it was retrieved. Honey retrieved from more than 1 kilometer in has mild narcotic effects, and honey retrieved from more than 4 kilometers in is not safe for human consumption due to high levels of arsenic. Yeah. Oh no, good idea to spread that on your toast. It is not known where the bees get food or water from. It has been determined what supplies them with nectar for making the honey. Addendum A. To the events of the expunged, travel more than 6.5 kilometers into SCP-883 is forbidden. There's some dangerous bees there. Some dangerous bees. Okay. What do we have here? A shaving mirror. Okay. So it's clearly a mirror that you look at to shave. But what could be the anomalous aspect of it? Maybe. If you try to shave while looking at that mirror, It looks like you're shaving your hair normally, but you're actually shaving your skin off. Another Euclid. These are all. This was also Euclid, right? These were all Euclid so far, but this one is pretty highly rated. Damn, boy. Damn, son, where you find this? Final report. Oh, there's an audio. I'm not sure if the audio is like just that text again. And there's also a original collection, which we'll read after we read this part. So it used to be safe, but now it's Euclid, and SB84-4 is to be stored in locker 147 at site blank. SB84-4 may be requisitioned for research with approval of either Dr. Cho or Dr. Ignat. Due to the events of January 11th, 2000 blank, all access to -4 is currently denied, and all requests to examine or test -4 are to be submitted directly to 05 blank for approval. -4 is to be placed in deep storage at site blank. Description: -4 is a men's shaving mirror made of glass and ivory, presumably constructed at some point around 1914. It is the last remaining object in what was originally a complete set of men's grooming tools. The others have been lost to testing and theft early this century. Other notable examples included -2 alias the Razor, which was stolen by the Chaos Insurgency during the split with the Foundation, and -6 alias the Comb, which was neutralized following incident -6 4172. For additional information on the remaining objects classified as SB884, please see file SB884 original collection. Actually, I'm going to read that last then. I'm going to read that part last. SB-4 possesses a mild hallucinogenic quality. Subjects who have used it while shaving reported an inability to perceive the removal of hair, causing repeated attempts to shave areas of the face that in reality have already been shaved. This usually results in irritation, has in one instance contributed to the accidental severing of the carotid artery. I was actually kind of right. It makes you feel like, well, kind of right. I said you think you're shaving your beard, but you're actually shaving off your skin because it looks like you're not shaving. So it's kind of right from what I said before. I think that's pretty spot on now that I think about it. Other than this, no significant effects have been recognized as of December 12, 19 blank. As -4 is remanded to storage locker 147 at site blank. See addendum -4-9 and addendum -4-10. So addendum 9 and 10, yeah. Which we have a lot here. Okay. At the insistence of insurgency defector, this is by the way addendum 1, defector A blank, one of 3 operatives to openly approach the Foundation with information about the insurgency and request the opportunity to rejoin. Foundation officials have ordered -4's containment staff to move the object to a safer location at site blank. Addendum 2, February 19, 1950 blank, incident report -4 following the deaths of Agent Norris and Dr. Ignat on October 14, 19 blank, at the hands of Chaos Insurgency personnel insurgency defector A blank is to be terminated. -4 reclassified as lost. Addendum 3, April 11th, 1950 blank, recovery report -4. Successful raids on suspected insurgency storage locations resulted in the recovery of SV blank, -4, SV blank, and no fewer than blank anomalous objects. -4 was discovered in an insurgency lab with several extensive experiments set up, including Ditto Expunged and Ditto Expunged. Agent Jones and Corporal Blake are credited for the recovery of SCP of -4 at great personal peril. Both have been awarded Ditto Redacted for their actions, as well as 1 week paid leave. Dr. Cho has been provided with a lab and staff to reconstruct insurgency research. Addendum 4. Extensive testing has concluded that the insurgency testing was without purpose. -4 is remanded to storage at site blank. For a full report of testing and trials, please see attached document blank. Addendum 5, October 2nd, 19 blank. Concerning insurgency action 327, the Chaos Insurgency staged an attack on site blank, losing approximately blank blank of their numbers. The only target of the attack, circumstantial evidence has led officials to conclude, was -4's containment locker. By order of 05 blank, testing on -4 has been stated to resume. Okay, for a moment I don't know why. For a split moment I thought I was not unmuted, and I was like, that would have been very bad. And then Addendum 6. Due to Dr. Cho's drowning death in 19 blank, Dr. Rasmussen has been asked to head research on -4. Researchers will be asked to report to duty on January 11, 19 blank. Addendum 7. Report of Dr. Rasmussen, January 19 blank. After 2 years, continual tests have repeatedly shown no additional abnormalities in -4. Due to the persistence of the threat by the insurgency, it is recommended that the extreme care be taken in protecting -4 and agents be assigned to uncover the information the insurgency apparently has concerning -4. Addendum 8. My god. My lip is acting up. Field transmissions of Agent L blank 2000 blank upon receiving final communique of Agent P blank following the deep cover placement and reception of Agent P blank. Significant information concerning -4 has come to light, most having originally been removed from Foundation files before the split with the insurgency by members of the faction, particularly the head researchers Dr. G blank. -4 must be The whole left side of my mouth is now fucked. Great. Dr. S blank for immediate examination. Final report will be submitted to 05 via personnel courier within 24 hours. Addendum 9. -4 is to be placed in deep storage at site blank. No further contact is to be allowed with -4. -4 is now reclassified as Euclid until final prognosis is made by the Agent L blank and Dr. S blank 052. And addendum 10. So I want to now see if this is just what we just. If this is just this. Let's see.
Final report of Agent Lim. Having now worked on this case for close to 8 years, it is with some pleasure that I close it. SCP-884-4 has been a continual mystery in containment circles, with the interest of the insurgency, including the sacrifice of no fewer than 20 of their members in acquiring the object, leading to much interest. It was only after the Foundation's own agents were successful in discovering the motives of the insurgency that the truth has come to light. Even then, the full ramifications may never be discovered. In addition to its vaguely unsettling effect, SCP-884-4 had a longer-term symptom that was not discovered during testing due to the regular terminations of Class D subjects. Between 4 to 7 years after exposure, victims of SCP-884-4 begin to experience what Dr. has called doubt. Symptoms begin subtly, generally notable only as a checking and rechecking of reports and results, making sure doors are locked, etc. The early onset is almost indistinguishable from mild obsessive-compulsive disorder. Later symptoms develop over the following 2 to 6 years, resulting in an increasing disability to create final reports, struggles to make simple choices, and eventually a complete disability to make decisions. Thus far, Dr. has found no way to cure these problems, and personnel affected are to be placed in low-risk positions. Until later stages set in, they have been discovered to be extremely useful due to their fastidiousness, and the Foundation has saved significant resources by using them in this capacity. As for the involvement of the insurgency, it is the opinion of this agent that their motives were simple. They wanted the Foundation to experiment on SCP-884-4, specifically to infect more and more members of the Foundation. Due to the mundane nature of the work and the low level of researchers assigned in a long-term capacity, close to separate instances of infection have been discovered, more than times the number of personnel they themselves have lost. Examination of causes of death from practically every person associated with research on SCP-884-4 had to do with an inability to make a crucial decision at an important moment. Agent Jones, for example, hesitated a moment between drawing his weapon and running when confronted with SCP in 1950, resulting in his death. Dr. Cho drowned in 1950, presumably unable to decide it was time to get out of the bath. This has been one of the most elegant and long-term plans the insurgency has ever enacted, and its efficacy is obvious. I recommend immediate investigation into the SCPs known to have been examined by the previous members of the insurgency and the temporary freezing of any ongoing research in the interim. Agent Containment Specialist, 2nd Class.
Whoever he is that recorded this, I'm not sure if that is the one who actually wrote this SCP, or if that's a hired actor, or just somebody that the person knows personally. He has a very good voice that fits to the SCP Foundation world. That's definitely a voice you expect one of those agents to have, or one of the doctors to have. So, but we're not done yet with SCP-884. We still have the original collection, which is there's a couple, because we now know that the one we saw is -4, which is the mirror. But there is a whole bunch of other ones. Information on the remaining lost piece of SCP-884 is fairly sketchy in many places. Due to the civil war in the Foundation that resulted in the formation of the Chaos Insurgency, many of the original documents and pieces were lost. However, some data has been collected and observed in the intervening time about the additional units which were originally included in the collected SCP. This information is open for the free review of any people assigned to SCP-884's containment. However, this information should not be shared with people who are not members of the containment team. Agent L Blank, which seems to be the same agent that just read this out loud. Okay. So we have -1, the bag. -1 was the leather bag which contained the pieces at recovery. Photographs of the bag show that it seems to be equipped with a zipper, the style of which places its construction at 1910 to 1912 at the earliest. It was initially regarded as lacking any anomalous qualities of its own. However, after approximately 10 years of analysis on the optics consisting of SCP-884, the actual time frame has been lost entirely. It was noted to have retained its original suppleness and softness. The original hypothesis that its optics consisting of SCP-884 were immune to the passage of time was amended when it was discovered that objects placed in -1 seemed to be placed in a form of stasis. Tests with fruits and vegetables verified this. -1 was lost during the Foundation Civil War when several of the SCP-884 objects were stolen. Testing was in progress at the time of the loss, but data has not been recovered. Original classification, safe. Current location believed to still be in possession of the Chaos Insurgency. Recovery is a Class 4 priority. And now we have the Razor, which was already mentioned before, which is -2. With the exception of -4 and -6, both of which were or are in the Foundation's possession. More information on -2 exists than any other object in the collection. -2 was a straight-edge folding razor, which what appeared to be a silver blade and an ivory handle. So basically, the ones that and you're one that Sweeney Todd uses, oh yes. I cannot believe people back then allowed people with fucking blades to just go on to the next and just I would not have the balls to do that. I'm pretty sure even if it was the norm, I would not let that I would not do that at all. I think I would only shave myself. I would only go to a barber just to get a haircut, but not shave my beard. When opened, then razor blade could be drawn through the air, forming kind of nanoscopic event. Original documents reference this as an event as a cut in the surface of the universe, which comes across as more dramatic than strictly necessary, but typical for documents written at the time. The event itself was not able to properly studied at the time due to the lack of necessary instruments, but the size was estimated by analyzing the damage caused by it. The event creator was capable of slicing through any object which passed through the space it occupied. Regardless of speed or approach to the event, tested materials which were severed include steel, iron, lead, wood, gold, diamond, aluminium, and the skin and flesh of various living creatures. Tests with heavier elements were forbidden following the death of 3 researchers in the event, which was unfortunately expunged from the original document. So this thing can cut diamonds. That is hardcore. Just and the diamond just like an apple just. The event itself degrades over time, becoming duller as the universe heals. This will lead to objects passing through it encountering slight resistance, while still being cut. And a firmer location which does not cut, then a sensation of a thicker air. So okay, so the air is like there's like an invisible cut there basically. But as I say, after a while, that invisible cut just becomes duller and duller. A correlation was found between the sharpness of the razor and the duration of the event. Original classification Euclid. Current location known to have been in possession of the Chaos Insurgency as recently as 1984. According to obtained documents, recovery is a Class 2 priority. -3, the shaving cup and brush. -3 was the only paired object which required both halves of the object to function. The cup was carved from ivory with a small painting of a horse on the side. The brush was ivory with a horse hair bristles. There is no information on the exact means or function of -3, and documents originating from the time which reference it make mention of 3 unfortunate instances of it being activated, the last of which left a massive hole in the center of Site 6 containment sector, allowing for the escape of 3 other objects, 2 of which were recovered by the information deleted. The document goes on to make note of damaging particles, several related deaths, and incalculable loss of material. Due to each of these events, there is no information on where these events happened other than Site 6, which was entirely demolished and reconstructed in 1977. Why the fuck did I say 1933? Where did that number come from? Of further information on the activation method or specific effects of -3, it is known that at least one of these events required a Class L restructuring, but there is no information on what exactly that event entailed either. Original classification Keter. Current location. While many documents following the foundations of the war make note of the insurgency possibly having possession of -3, no definitive proof has been found. The last reference to it before the war makes note that it was placed in deep storage at a redacted location. No further information is available. -4, the shaving mirror. Check the current document. Okay, it's basically saying like you already read the shit. -5, the scissors. -5 was the first of the object to be completely understood by the Foundation. -5 was a pair of silver scissors with an etched design undescribed in existing documents, which were used to open and close things. Initial data noted that in the personal records of the supervising doctors at the time recorded the basic effects. When pointed at a closed door with the blades closed, the door could be opened by simply opening the blades. When pointed at a door which was open with the blades open, then closing them, the door would close. The effects works in boxes, locks, grates, drawers, and most other objects. There is no effect on an open object if the blades start closed, and there is no effect on a closed object if the blades start open. The effect functions normally if the turned to the side, though, and opened at the floor or other object which can be opened or closed. A quaint, largely useless item. Quaint. The full extent of -5's effect was not understood until a few weeks later, when it was accidentally used on a living person and opened them. The subject's organs, bones, and viscera were ripped out of the orifice and deposited on the ground before the skin turned itself inside out. Closing the pile of body parts resulted in the messy, inefficient, incomplete reassembly of the subject, who sometimes continued to live for minutes after the event. Furthermore, the original testing chamber later became more and more dangerous as the full ramification of opening and closing the scissors was discovered. Surfaces which were open slowly lost strength, became more and more brittle, and eventually crumpled. The inversive effect was seen in the surfaces which were closed. Some samples still remain, but their study showed no definitive reason for the cause of the effect. Original classification: originally Euclid, then moved to Keto. On today's standard, it would probably be listed as safe. Really? I would put it back to Euclid, but I guess as long as you don't use it. Current location: while originally stolen by the Chaos Insurgency during the Foundation's war, this object was known to be in the possession of Marshal Collin and those motherfuckers again. At early as the 1940s, offers to purchase the items have been politely but firmly declined as recently as the 1980s. Recovery is Class 3 priorities. Oh, there's two more. I thought there was only one more. The Dash 6, the comp. Dash 6 was an ivory comp with a carved design, again undescribed, in the body above the teeth. Dash 6 was one of the pieces of SCP-884 which was retained by the Foundation after the Civil War and was considered to be the premier piece of the collection. For approximately 3 hours after use of the comp, a time dilation effect occurred around the object, causing time to slow down the closer one came to Dash 6. After the duration ended, the time would immediately resume at normal speed. Dash 6 was invaluable in the recontainment of over dozens SCP following breaches that would otherwise be considered disastrous. Because there's a time dilation, I see. Time slows down. Which also probably means that SCP slowed down as well. They can't run as fast. Research into the nature of the effect was ongoing until the destruction of Dash 6 in 1958. For unknown reasons, Dash 6 was removed from containment and activated several times by an unknown party over the course of several hours. 7 corpses were discovered in quick succession, leading Foundation officials to conclude that someone was projecting Dash 6 effect at a location. The target was discovered and neutralized via gunfire over the course of several hours due to the dilation effect. The target was never identified and Dash 6 was rendered neutralized in the crossfire. Original classification: Thawmill, which is, I think, one of the rare Thawmills we get to see. Current location: remains are available for study at Site 18's deep storage facility, as well as the remains of the corpse. Please note that only long-distance observation may be used, as the dilation effect is still ongoing. And the last one: tweezers. Dash 7 was a set of silver tweezers and was referred to in documentation as the very example of why the Foundation exists by the researchers who uncovered its effect. When pointed at an object and used, presumably squeezed by specifics unknown, Dash 7 would grip an object and allow it to be manipulated. The object could be lifted, smoothed, rotated, spun, etc., with no regard of the weight, size, or mass of the object in question. Surviving testing records indicate that, among other things, lifted an anvil, train, car, and a battleship all show no difference in the effect. You just, like in video games when you find something like an item, and then you look at it and it's an inventory where you can like just turn it around and do like that. That's why I imagine they do with like a battle tank. They just like, oh yeah, this looks interesting. But this ginormous ship just being flipped upside down, rotated, put on its head, and so on and so forth. Dash 7 was utilized as a potent weapon during the Foundation Civil War and was considered one of the more dangerous objects in the collection, as the full range of its effect was unknown. One researcher at the time was known to have remarked that we could bring the very moon down on our heads. Yeah, you could. The accident was confirmed to have been used against a number of global occult coalition forces during a raid on a Chaos insurgency base in Cairo, Egypt in 1961. The object was recovered and destroyed by the ZOC following this raid. Original classification Euclid. The requests of an upgrade to Kita are still on file. No response to those requests have been discovered. Current location, no remains of the object have ever been produced, and we only have the word of the GOC that they successfully destroyed it. Careful monitoring for similar effects is ongoing, but considering a low priority. That was a good one. There's definitely some shenanigans happening with this one, but the fact that there's like multiple different ones with different effects, I like that. I like that a lot. Go get something to drink. Be right back. All right. I have returned. Henry. Oh yeah. Whew. Cloudy lemonade hits so well. Living vacuum. It's a vacuum that can move, is sentient, sapient. Keto, for sure. Never mind. Never mind. There's so many Euclids in this one. SB85 is contained within a welded steel container in storage area. Another thing about it, living vacuum doesn't mean what I thought it meant. It's not like a black hole. It doesn't. It's just, yeah. Blank blank. The storage area must be kept at negative pressure at all times to reduce possibility of escape. Air movement within the storage area is to be monitored at all times. Description: SB85 is a living creature of unknown composition that displaces all fluids, liquids, and gases within its perimeter. Analysis of the interior of the creature has shown no phenomena consistent with known matter. It is, for all intended purposes, a complete vacuum. Extensive sonar imaging has shown SB85's perimeter to be a cloud of about 200 ovoid elements which intersect and divide arbitrarily. Whether it is a single creature or a swarm is unknown. Experiments to isolate one of the ovoids from the main mass are on the way. SB85's perimeter contains the pressure differential, and it can manipulate the differences in pressure to move itself. It can move through all known fluids and permeate through porous solids such as concrete, but metal or tempered glass can contain it. Items fully immersed within SB85 behave as they would within a vacuum. SB85 is attracted to living, breathing creatures when it's... why is my... This part of my temple was pulsating. I don't know why. It still is actually. When it identifies as a prey, possibly by perceiving atmospheric vibration, it seeks to surround the creature. Once it has surrounded its prey, it extracts all fluids and gases still clinging to folds or pores by negative pressure and kills it by hypoxia and embolism. It will actively hunt down escaping prey. SB85 can move up to 12 meters per second in the standard atmosphere, less in denser air. Once a prey is killed, SB85 loses interest in it. It is not known how or whether it draws any kind of sustenance from these acts. Addendum. SB85 is nearly undetectable in the normal atmosphere. Even within liquids, it is only visible as a cluster of bubbles. Unexplained air shifts. Unexplained airships near SCP-85's enclosure should be immediately reported. SCP-85 has poor control of its pressure shifts but can hold doors closed by the shear differential. Okay, no, hell no. SB shear differential 101 kPa in the standard atmosphere. Remember, sound does not travel in a vacuum, and victims may not be able to cry for help before it's too late. Victims of SCP-85 must be immediately triaged for barrel trauma. Common effects of short-term exposure to SCP-85 are eardrum damage, lung damage, or collapsed bruises and embolism. Whew, that is a lot. That's a lot of damage happening to one person by something they cannot see. Less common effects of short-term exposure to SCP-85 due to more sudden pressure shifts or prolapse of the digestive and respiratory tract, large-scale blood loss by evaporation, and brain trauma. Effects of long-term exposure to SCP-85 are nearly universally death. Well then. We got a message. Oh, looks like somebody is in trouble. Oh great, this is not something I expected right now. Let's see if I can get this done quickly. Nanny. This could be anything. I don't know. Nanny. So what if it's actually like a nanny? Like it takes care of children, but it does not look like a person at all. But it just takes care of children really good. But it just does not look like a human being. Our first save. SCP-886-A Alpha and -A03. What the fuck? Okay. Are to be kept in dedicated humanoid containment suits by Site 66 and allowed nutritious rations 3 times daily. So they are humanoid looking. Oh well, they're in humanoid containment doesn't mean they're humanoid looking or that they're humanoid at all. Maybe that containment is just all they need. SCP-886-B-2-1. What is this? What are these numbers? Through SCP-886-B-2-3 will be kept in containment chamber 886 Delta, designed as an appropriate climate-controlled indoor paddock on site and provided with appropriate feed. Additional members of SCP-886 may be bred if appropriate reasons for research are presented. If research is not being undertaken, offspring of both -A and -B are to be destroyed immediately after birth. I am confuzzled with all these numbers. I've never seen that. SCP-886 is the collective designation of unique mammals capable of cyclic asexual reproduction. -A are identical human females, Homo sapiens, of Irish descent, and -B are identical female domestic Irish goats. Capra Hircus. Sure. Member of -A and -B develop and behave as expected of ordinary individuals of their species and are completely ordinary outside the shared anomaly. So is the goat the nanny? A alpha is the oldest and presumably original instance of A. A is a human female, age 37, of average intelligence and stature. Once a year during the spring, A alpha will spontaneously become pregnant and carry twin instances of B to term. Gestation mirrors that of a standard goat, averaging between 140 to 160 days. Instances of B will be female, which with white fur and of average size. A are friendly and audibly docile, having near displayed any form of aggression towards humans during containment. The milk and meat of B may be consumed safely. The anomaly does not appear to be infectious. At the age of 2.5 years, each specimen of B will spontaneously become pregnant, each with a single human infant. I see what's happening. I see what's happening here. So, A becomes pregnant with goats, and she's the mother, but the goats will become the nanny. And B will become pregnant with humans, give birth to them, and then she will take care of them, even though she's the nanny. She will become the nanny of those humans. That is so weird. Was become pregnant each with a single human infant born of B are genetically identical to A alpha, designated A XX. A-XX will develop in normal human females until age 15, when they will begin to exhibit the anomaly in the fashion previously described. A alpha does not know how or why she began to exhibit her anomaly, only that it began suddenly and without warning. Similarities between SCP-886 and SCP-2910 have been noted. An investigation into whether SCP-2910 is a variant of or altered version of the anomaly seen within SCP-886 is currently undergoing. And then the recovery of SCP-886 A alpha was discovered by embedded agent Donnelly when a local newspaper released a story regarding her anomalous pregnancy in a weekend column. A cover story revealing the column as a piece of short fiction was released, and associated civilians were altered appropriately. Of course, you can't just go around telling that a woman gave birth to goats. A task force was called to the area, and A alpha was extracted under the guise of a car accident. Family and friends are being monitored for further anomalies, with special attention to pay to the subject's sisters and daughters, of course. Yeah, makes sense. That is such a weird concept. I hope it doesn't feel odd for each individual giving birth to the other species. Hypergraphia. I don't know what that means. I'm not even sure if that's actually a word. That's like... It's a behavioral condition characterized by the intense desire to write or draw. Oh, that's why graphia, as in the graphic drawing, like, and hyper. So like, yeah, so you have to hyper need, like, you need. I gotta do it. That was waiting for sure. Okay, so yeah, but how can they make this into an anomalous thing? Maybe it's like they have been drawing for like days without sleep, but the health hasn't altered. They've been on for like weeks, but they're still alive. Let's see. Save. Hey, a second save, dude. Yeah. Welcome. That one save before is not alone anymore. SB-887 may be kept in the standard quarters. Personnel must take care. Personnel must take care. He feeds himself and uses facilities at regular intervals, as he'll frequently forget to do so. Full feeding, cleaning, and exercises schedule annexed. SB-887 must have writing materials available to him at all times to avoid an unnecessary confrontation and ensure continual research. Used papers should be sent to analysis at least bi-weekly. Description: SB-887 is a man in his late 40s. What? In the late 40s, born in blank Russia. His left arm and left side of his face are partially paralyzed, resulting in slurred speech. SCP-887 was recently emerged from a 17-year coma in blank hospital. St. Petersburg displaying nearly complete mental recuperation aside from extreme hypergraphia. Subject claims he was conscious during the entire length of his coma, receiving communications from an unknown source. His hypergraphia is attributed to him writing down all that was told to him during this period. SB-887 is amiable but has trouble keeping track of long conversations and cannot be taken off his work for more than 15 minutes at a time. The subject is adamant about his process, going as far as writing on the walls with his own blood if writing implements are unavailable. Okay. SB-887, I was about to be like, how is this like an SCP? Because it seems like he just wants to draw. He just has the craziest need to draw, but then like, yeah, he wants to, if there's nothing there to draw with, he will literally use his own blood. He's like, I don't care. SCP-887's output includes text, drawings, mathematical equations, and engineering blueprints. Several display knowledge of languages and concepts he was not educated in or that he would not have been aware of while interned. When questioned about the contents of his work, he claims to have forgotten or not known more than what's written down. Interview Interviewer Dr. Sarah. Forward interview takes place 3 days after subject's containment and has been translated from the original Russian. Begin log. Good evening. Can you understand me? Oh yes. You have you have a familiar accent. Have you been to blank? I fear I'm not at liberty to discuss that, sir. Now, if you please, could you state your name and place of birth? Blank, born in blank of blank, Russia. Do you understand why you're here? This is a hospital, yes. I believe I came for a treatment for my headaches. I got a lot of headaches after the truck crash. I see. Could you describe what you remember from this accident? I was driving a truck, carrying a shipment of... I don't remember, but I was almost too blank. I think I fell asleep on the wheel. Something hit me. I don't remember what. The Terminator. What happened next? Oh, I woke up lying down on something soft. The hospital, I suppose. My voice is around, but I couldn't see anything or move. Tried to speak for a long time. Tell people I was okay, yes? And then I hear subject fidgets close for something. Hear what? What? You were lying down and could not move, and then you started hearing something? Oh, yes. The voices, they told me things all the time. All the time? Until I wake, yes? Search is closed again. Do you have a pencil? Pen, I need to write something I remembered. In a moment, sir. What did these voices tell you? Oh, many things. Important things, yes? I've been trying to remember them. Intensively scratches tables with nails, then with more strength. Sir, please calm down. No. I have to I have to write this down. Can't forget it. No. Subject nails bleeds a bit. Subject attempts to write letters on the table with his blood. Why? What will happen if you don't write it down? Looks at interview panicked and starts tearing his fingers against the table and walls. Security, code Epsilon, interview over. Description at the length of SB-887's output that has been decoded so far is located at SB-887's log. There's more. Researchers are encouraged to add to it as more information is unraveled. Oh boy, that's a long one. Oh shit. Well, I guess start reading now. I was thinking to myself actually recently, like when will I have a long one again? But yeah, this is log of decoded and sampled output of SB87, researchers are encouraged to volunteer at decoding the massive backlog of content. Dr. Sarah. We'll go read this a bit fast. I would not say sample 887, I will just say what the number is. 2,930, and 12 pages written in Latin mixed with French. The text describes a political system in which the movements of the tides are used to determine the next government. The text later veers into an unusual level of detail regarding the efforts one should wear in such tide selecting ceremonies. 3,114, 8 pages of a crudely drawn comic describing Captain Backwards, his ability to enact an action after its effect, and how he uses to fight crime. The comic ends by Captain Backwards destroying himself to radioactively create the universe. 4,011, 133 pages written in corrupted Esperanto, a thorough description of the contents of an unwed maiden's bedroom as it existed in 17th century European city, specific location undetermined at this time. 4,281, a single page with 5 lines drawn diagonally across it with 17 dots dispersed in the manner of a musical notation staff. The resulting score, when played with pure tones through the synthesizer, induces seizures and short-term interrogate amnesia in 85% of the observed subjects. 5,112, 15 pages covered in curved lines. A brilliant deductive effort by Dr. Blank determined that these be contiguous section of a single level map depicting a 30-kilometer squared area of the surface of the Saturn's moon Enceladus. 7 points in the map are circled. 5,227, 4 pages English, a formal proposal to the United States government to introduce an 8th day to the week. This would be employed in spiritual contemplation and the worship of pagan divinities, the document calls on the representative. 5,836, 3 pages covered with hexadecimal numbers, then torn into narrow strips. The assembled document was served as machine code for the hardware driver called LGZL underscore XPNDR. Excuse me. 6,334, the 3 pages, a word-by-word replication of the primary report on SCP-857 with the exception here is called Bernard, which SCP-657, not 857, 657. 657, can I jump here? Yes, I can. 657, which is Death Predicting Man. An dressed man who can predict exactly of a person's. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I remember him. But he's called Bernhard. Okay. Okay. 3,877. 8 pages, German. A folkloric tale of a boy born without a heart who ventures in the woods and acquires one from a friendly old woman. He grows up and marries a beautiful lady who dies, giving birth to a demon that devours both. Interesting. That sounds like a grim fairy tale. 4,710, 96 pages, Acadian, an extended research article on the properties of naturally occurring earth lines and how one might use them for transportation of cargo and projectiles. Several devices intended to employ these properties built out of wood and lodestone are outlined. 5,005, 5 pages, English, 272 different misspellings of a word, anthropomorphization. 9,912, 6 pages Latin, a star chart clearly modeled after medieval European charts but without any recognizable celestial body disposition. 14 constellations are labeled Pegasus, Sextant, Centaurus, Chimera, Cygnus, Swan, Anseer, Lance, Telopus, Telobite, Aranea, Spider, Nonavul, Pecula, Nine-tailed Fox, Caldavor, Tail Eater, apparently a self-devouring serpent, blank, 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 and Leolazarus, lion and lizard. 6,776, 2,353 pages, English. The first was the Black Moon Howl, repeated over 27,000 times. 8,312, 14 pages plus 22 sections of other pages. 637 names, 382 of which have been matched to professional photographers of over 30 nationalities. Researchers suggest most, if not all, have captured pictures of petroglyphs and scenery around Kata, Juta, and Uluru Ayers Rock in Australia. And 566, 490 pages, Spanish, a story called La Última Aventura de Don Quijote, and attributed to Miguel de Cervantes. While the first few pages are a reasonable simile of Cervantes' style, the narration becomes confused and then outright nonsense afterwards. Notably, Dulcinea's dialogue is unintelligible, and Sancho spends several chapters repeatedly crawling out of the muddy pool. How much did... Oh, God. This is going to take me a bit. Researcher Vogt. 3162, a 38 sonnets in what was identified as a medieval Flemish Antwerp dialect. Each sonnet describes an allegorical term that lives in political accomplishments of a deceased president of the United States. The last line of each sonnet is the president's last words, and the first several words of each sonnet form an acoustic representation, a Latinized version of the president's name. 3788, names and birth weights in grams of every member of the Parliament of Lithuania beginning in 1991. Produced via SB 978, which we don't haven't read yet. And 3789, the names of every attendee of the 1969 Woodstock Music Festival in the reverse alphabetical order, produced by SCP 978. And SCP and sample 3790, a list of 45 methods with which to permanently destroy. Might as well keep this open. SCP 682. Might as well keep this open. SCP 682 is how to destroy reptile. Oh, each method relies on the use of an SCP or related item which has died, been destroyed, or is otherwise permanently unavailable. Just to cock tease us, eh? 5516, 5 pages from the journal of SCP-451, written in a mirror reverse Pick Latin. Mr. Lonely is a former Foundation field agent who is now unable to unable to perceive the presence of humans, where he thinks he's all alone, but actually he's there. I remember him. Like he thought that he was like dead, but actually no, from his perspective, he was all alone, but actually he was always with people. Which I still don't understand why they didn't just write to him like, hey, why are you acting this weird? Why are you stripping yourself? 1486. 2,000 villanelles, each of which describe an SCP. 94, 518 pages of episode synopsis, dialogue, excerpts, annotations, reception, and bloopers for 72 episodes of the animated comedy The Simpsons, in the format used by popular Simpsons fan site blank.com. Analysis indicates that the episodes are predicted on The Simpsons characters having aged in real time beginning in 1997. 908, 1,611 pages of messages posted to an internet mailing list dedicated to writing /fic amateur romantic homoerotic fiction about the past and present members of the United States Supreme Court. Content includes critiques on finished drafts and analysis of judicial decisions in terms of erotic value. 944, sketches of human dental records labeled as belonging to the member of Jimmy Carter's presidential cabinet, identified by birth name and cabinet portfolio, dated the last month of Carter's administration. Names and portfolios are misspelled, but sketches have been assessed by Foundation forensic dentists as plausible extrapolation of known medical data for the individual in question. Researcher Dr. Sampi only did one apparently, 6,510, 31 pages in English, an extensive bioethics paper from the Blank University Philosophy Department condemning the practice of transplanting the brain from one dying body into the body of one of the youngest child. Researcher Dr. Edison, 2,310, the scripts for a Japanese dub of the first season of I Love Lucy, hey! 1,810, a report on the founding of the Panama Canal. The report is written with a style and vocabulary consistent with an 11-year-old child. 3,132, 500 pages of pure source code, seemingly unorganized and written in C++ efforts to compile code are ongoing, but comments indicate the program is still expunged. Okay, now we're slowly making progress. It will take a while. I will see if in a half an hour, if we're not close to the end, I will skip this and read it for myself, and then we go to the next one. In a half an hour, if we're not anywhere near like the last quarter. (3,137) 47 pages of hexadecimal code. Code successfully compiles into a PNG image of Dr. Blank in a speedo. Dr. Blank claims no such picture was taken. 31. Map of the country called Lemuria, written in English, circa 18 blank. Lemuria refers to a hypothetical land bridge that was thought to connect Madagascar with the rest of Africa, only to be disproved with the theory of continental drift. The map does not correspond with any known geography above or below water. Interestingly, the capital of the nation is called Atlantis. 5,893. An extreme, clever, detailed, and well thought out plan to assassinate Ronald Reagan and replace him with a Soviet spy. 5,895. 4. An extremely clever, detailed, and well thought out plan to assassinate Leonid Brezhnev and replace him with an American spy. Hey, if we do it in America, we have to do it with the Russian. It's only fair trade. Oh god. 4,324. A short story supposedly written by J.D. Salinger meant as a prequel to The Great Gatsby. 2,331. A complete roster of the Boy Scouts of America circa 1983. 1,123. A selection of random passages that begin with the letter A pulled from various holy texts. The most common texts cited were in order: the Bible, the Quran, Dianetics, and the Gospel of the Flying Spaghetti Monster. Hey, the Flying Spaghetti Monster. Haven't heard that name in a while. 4,333. The words, he's right behind you. 9,913. A list of exactly 743 ways to skin a cat. 1,111. The musical score for SCP Foundation the Musical. 1,426. A Buddhist self-help book titled Reincarnation and Nirvana: How You Can Beat the System. 2,361. A list of things a man named blank 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 has eaten for breakfast. 4,521. I know these are all supposed to be like 5 SCP samples. 887-4521, but yeah. Doesn't really matter, does it? Although maybe I should keep consistency for the sake of consistency's sake. Blueprints for a 1:1 scale model of the Tower of London built entirely out of toothpicks. 1802. An exhaustive list of every person theorized to have been William Shakespeare, complete with detailed bibliography citations. This not only includes common theories such as Sir Francis Bacon and the Earl of Oxford, but also impossible theories such as Queen Victoria, 70s The Lion, and Bram Stoker. Researcher Dr. King. 6667. A schematic of poorly rendered Chinese ideograms linked by lines and curves spanning 3 pages. The ideograms are named of chemical elements, and the schematic depicts the atomic structure of the amygdalin molecule. Hey, isn't amygdalin found in Dr. Blank? Shh, Dr. Blank. Dr. Bridge. I mean, it's not too bad, progress-wise. 6228, 132 pages in the style of the journal, written in the second person, detailing the life of a juvenile Australian saltwater crocodile. Begins at its hatching day, ending abruptly as the crocodile is eaten by a larger crocodile of the freshwater variety. 8979, a list of the birth dates of every child with the first name of Matthew, born during a month ending in Y, in the states of New York, New Hampshire, and New Jersey between the years of 1936 and 1977. 3338, blueprints for Nintendo 64 game cartridges. 0277, the scripts for the first 7 episodes of that 70s show with words written backwards. 0923, an extreme crude, if overly detailed drawing of what seems to be SCP-914 drawing is quite smeared from the SCP-887's hand brushing over it during construction. 8558, a large multi-page drawing of King Ghidorah, a monster from the Godzilla films. Yeah. 2387, page 453 of the 1977 Encyclopedia Britannica, written in chart speak, produced by SB 978. Researcher Dr. J. Blank, 2365, pages 345 through 371, of a history of the Second Russo-Belgian War, detailing the political and strategic justification of for detonating a device referred to a 30 kilometer above Gnasken. Effects of the detonation are not documented. 8754, a list of the dates and times that a woman named W. Blank S. Blank has visited public toilets. The records covered the periods from 1988 to 1995. 1676, an autopsy report for an unmanned 13-year-old girl dated 12 May 2008. The cause of death is listed as asphyxiation due to plant matter blocking the trachea. 3557, a roughly A4 size sketch of actress Mila Jovovich, labeled in the bottom as 13 of 393. Researcher Professor Schneider, 6543, 78 post-it notes written in Mandarin Chinese, each one listing a single item typically found in the bathroom: toothbrush, toilet, shower cap, plunger, etc. 1220, a detailed and illustrated list of every single part of the last boy recliner, written upon a similar recliner in back Sharpie marker. The total price of an item is included. 0332, when a recovered sample was a pile of broken glass with seemingly random strokes of green paint applied to each shard. When placed back together, the paint strokes form the phrase, "This window is broken." 4449, an 81-page young adult story written in English titled "The Fabulous Findings of Funky Ferret." The story is about the titular Funky Ferret who aspires to be a pilot and ends up going into space. The story ends abruptly in the middle of the sentence in which Funky Ferret is fighting it with a robot pilot captain. 0887, 112 sentences written in Spanish, each one announcing which number sentence it was. This is the first sentence, this is the second sentence, this is the third sentence. Dr. Garcia. Okay, so 2665, copy of Kriegsmarine nautical chart of the Gulf of St. Lawrence with legend in German dating the chart in November 1943. Okay, we're almost halfway. We're doing good progress. We're almost there. 2666, a play written in Greek. The play is entitled The Babylonian and is in the style of Aristophanes. Aristophanes is believed to have written a play by that title in approximately 426 BCE, but no copies of the text are extant. 2667, an extremely detailed log of observation of a 31-year-old woman named Agnes Cooper, covering a 26-minute period on October 18, 2004. The log describes the subject's movement, heart rate and body temperature fluctuation as she stops for groceries at a Piggly Weekly market in Nashville, Tennessee. The log is written in Afrikaans. 2668, a set of maintenance records for forklifts and cranes at Gdańsk shipyard in Poland, dated from 1992 to 2016. 2674, several pages of machine-readable barcodes corresponding to 10-digit numbers. The significance of the numbers is unknown. 2676, a series of chess problems designed using a 13x9 square chessboard. 2677, solutions to crossword puzzles published in the Sacramento Bee newspaper between July 23, 1971 and August 15, 1973. This is so much to read. 2680, the character G repeatedly approximately 85,000 times. The document contains a table of contents, heading and subheadings, footnotes, and handwritten marginal notes in a different handwriting, all consistent only of repetition of the letter G, but punctuated and formatted as if it comprised meaningful text. 2681, a map showing the location of all Correos de Angola postal system mailboxes in Cabinda, Angola. 2682, a Chinese horoscopes for all current roster players in the National Hockey League. 2684, a transcript of a Nahuatl language conversation between two speakers. One of the speakers was named Heart of Jaguar, the other speaker is not named in the conversation. The conversation discusses whether conditions in central Mexico and the timing of a prospective military attack by the Aztec on the neighboring Tarascan settlement. The attack evidently took place in the year 1508. 2685, a log of lightning strikes in Cuba over 16 period beginning in the 1906. The log reports the date, time, longitude, latitude, coordinates, and energy of each strike. The log is written in Japanese. 2686, this guy's just going down the list. A series of motor vehicles, certificates of title for Hershey's owned by funeral homes in Appleton, Wisconsin. 2689, a copy of several sections of New Zealand's statute regulating the use of asbestos. The text is transcribed in Pittman shorthand, indicating that the statute had been recited by a speaker with a strong Minnesota accent. 2690, several versions of the description of the path taken by an ant walking across a floor in SB 887's containment chamber. These include narrative description in Serbian, in Haitian Creole, and in Vietnamese, a long series of programming commands in the logo programming language, and extended figurative description in Sanskrit mimicking the style of the Mahabharata, and a series of arithmetic functions using Mayan notion to express numbers. 2691, a fatwa written in Farsi discussing the times when an observant Muslim should pray in the direction he should face when traveling through 7-dimension space-time in excess of speed of light. That is, okay, that's very specific, but you do you. 2692, a Jeremiad written in the swampy Cree language transliterated into Manchu script that condemns a shade of blue described by the hex triplet 1034A6 and blames that color for the lax standards of morality of today's youth. Researcher Dr. Blank, 2704, a perfect copy of text of the English language Wikipedia article in the Battle of Bunker Hill, consistent with an edit dated blank 2010. 2705, a photorealistic sketch of the former U.S. politician blank with writing in English around the image, claiming that Mr. Blank was a lying son of a bitch, had been complicit in the destruction of evidence related to Redacted, and was going to burn in hell. 2706, this guy is also going down the list. A list of people currently on the electoral roll for the British constituency of blank, along with the past voting history written in German. 2707, a running account of the moves performed in the final match of the 1997 chess match between Garry Kasparov and the computer Deep Blue. The moves document diverge from the moves that were actually performed after Redacted, and they end with Kasparov winning the match writing Russian. 2710, a 330-line poem written in English with several spelling errors describing the author's love of a woman named Janice. 2711, a 15-page critical analysis signed by Professor blank of the stage play Cardenio by William Shakespeare, with writing in Italian save for quoted passages of the play which are in English. Cardenio is considered to be a lost play. No copy of the play is known to exist. 2712, a shooting script for an unmade art film entitled Route 73, credited as being written by blank. The script consists of two unidentified men meeting at a bus stop and discussing various topics at length while waiting for a delayed bus. The script is credited as being influenced by the Samuel Beckett play Writing for Godot, written in Flemish. 2713, the Latin phrase Cave Adzum Beware I Am Here, repeated a total of 407 times. Writing is irregular and scrawled over both sides of the single page, with major differences in letter size, handwriting style, and direction of the writing. Researcher Dr. J. Blank and Blank. 2873, the complete text of Marcel Proust's aller visual zu terms in Klingon. 2874, 500 pages of Your Mama jokes, which become steadily cruder and more explicit as the talking progresses. 2875, a script for a play entitled Macbeth 2. Banquet's revenge play is stylistically consistent with Shakespeare's works. 2876. The complete list of side effects of a drug called tetradifloxinol, which is 50 pages long, and includes such entries as bone implosions, gender impermanence, and temporal instability. No such drug is known to exist. We're halfway through now. We reached halfway through, so let's see how far we can get in the next 15 minutes. 2877, a list which purports to be Kentucky Fried Chicken's 11 secret herbs and spices, barring poison oak, Toxicodendron spp. None of the names listed are known to apply to any plant species. Dr. Gallo, 3387, sewing patterns for a soft toy elephant drawn to have a trunk that splits into 3 halfway along its length. Elephant has no tusks and prominent others. 3391, one page apparently from a script for a Bobble the Clown TV show, and this seems to be an SCP that we are going to meet one day. Bobble is demonstrating how to catch some motorcyclists by stringing rides across cycle trails. Handwriting is extremely fluid and includes a border of loops and smiley faces around the page. Show no intercepted by the Foundation, though tone is good match for unknown episodes. 3395, 23 pages of extremely detailed diagrams of how a bramble bush has grown over the shallow grave of 4 people. Bodies are marked as having been fully skeletonized. Diagrams indicate that the position of every large bone as well as the shape of the bush. One skeleton is juvenile female, the other juvenile males. Plant biologists estimate that the bush has been growing for 3 years, and the steep sides of the grave suggest that it was dug in heavy coral soil. 3245, a full transcript of the 2003 Academy Awards ceremony matches actual event, except that each award winner acceptance speech includes the words highlights. Wow. Oh god, that's no. Can you imagine if that was the case? 3289, fragmentary revision notes in English and Mandarin Chinese, course titles matching the University of Oxford 2008 to 9 year. Computational Biology MSc course, many references and criticism made relating to an apparently unreliable Ubuntu release titled Perky Polecat with features non-anonymous, not present in any copy of this software to date. 3412, pages entirely shaded in black apart from 4 long triangles and a circle left white, making the featureless head, arms and legs of a humanoid figure, all triangles tapered to the points of the extremities. Die Ansteckerin, basically the infector, but it's female because it's D. So, written in capitals on the back, the title is in German, and approximately translation would be the woman who pins things down. Yeah, okay, I can see why you would go for that, but yeah. Okay, yeah, because jemand anzustecken would mean to infect somebody, but also stecken also means pin, so it steckt fest, it's stuck. So I can see where to get this from, but that's not where I would have gone first. Dr. Wilkinson, 352317 pages of what appear to be discussion thread from an internet forum in modern Cyrillic script. Thread titled Love and Death, thread mostly consistent of praises and confession to numerous serial killers, assassins and rapists, most notably the Russian serial killer Alexander Pichushkin. Other mentioned killers include Charles Manson, Mark David Chapman, and Yoshio Kodaira. Where is my thing? There it is. Several. Thread participants expressed lust for the convicted murders. No dates of URLs were included on the pages. Dr. Erickson, 6121, a play in the style of William Shakespeare that follows the plot of the novel I, Robot by Isaac Asimov, apparently intended as a comedy. 61854, an illustration of the constellation Gemini, with the stars, Castor, and Pollux absent. 6305, a document in the form of a standard SCP objects briefing in German, titled SCP 704121. The entirety of the species containment procedures and description are expunged with the exception of the phrase "keep me locked up forever." 6322, an elaborate qualitative description of 8 pieces of silverware written in the first person. The author addresses each item by the name of a star. There we go. We passed the halfway point, boys and girls. We passed the halfway point. 6560. I'm losing breath and a choreography in Lapa notation of a waggle dancer that purports to allow a human performing it to direct honeybees towards a fruit source. The dance has not been tested. Feeling a bit dizzy. Probably because I read like so much in such high speed, and I also slowly getting hungry again. Dr. Selvas, 7321. A 30-page literary analysis asserting that Holden Caulfield, the main character from the 1951 novel The Catcher in the Rye, is in fact a canine that has run away from its owner's house, written in Persian. 7329, a poem entitled Kilometers Apart, detailing two anthropomorphized characters, Kilmark and Malmary, as in like kilometers and miles, who cannot be together due to differences in the measuring system, written in spell. Dude, I'm actually kind of down for that. I'm kind of down for like an actual story like that. Dr. Blank. 7427, a complete season of the television series to Doctor, written in Hungarian using the robust script used prior to the adoption of the Latin alphabet. Notably, the show's setting and characters are altered substantially in order to provide an analogy of the political events of the Kingdom of Hungary, the part of the Austrian Empire, between 1843 and 1848, from a Hungarian nationalist point of view. The season ends just before an event analogous to the revolution of 1848 occurs, with a cliffhanger that the show promises will be picked up next season. There is no next season. 7451, a 178-page novel entitled The Ampersand's Coronation, written in English. The document consists of sentences that, while grammatically correct, have no semantic value. 7483, a proposal to move the island of Madagascar from its location in the Indian Ocean to the middle of the Pacific Ocean to better harness the energies that exist there. 7471, a copy of the message inscribed on SCP-1050 translated into Spanish, apparently signed by Charles II of Spain, who in addition to being King of Spain is also given the titles Holy Roman Emperor, King of France, and Conqueror of the Davites. Researcher Saramago. 1990. The 2005 novel Twilight translated into Tswana. The characters named Edward and Jacob are reversed throughout the text. 2011. A critical essay discussing mythological representation of the fictional island of Australia, dated 5th May 1998. 1709. A proclamation of the marriage of Shaka Zulu and Princess Alexandrina Victoria of Kent, giving his full titles and styles as His Majesty Shaka by the grace of God of the Zulu Nation, King of the United Kingdom of the Great Britain and Ireland, King, Defender of the Faith, Emperor of India. Researcher Dr. Ox. There's so many people have to go through this shit. C. Moran. 5674. 444 pages of an English dictionary. All words for describing smells are excluded. The entry for nose is a string of expletives. The definition of square and triangle are swapped. 4590. A Japanese strategy guide for the video game Pokemon Blue. The guide spends most of its time discussing the superiority of bug-type Pokemon and advantages of wearing shorts. The guide ends less than halfway through the game. Yeah, because it's the shorts. It's the shorts kid you beat first. Like, you beat him so early on. Who has bug types. He's like, oh, bugs are great and shorts are great too. Oh my fucking god. That's fucking hilarious, dude. 9090. A sequence of exclamation points and question marks when converting to binary and run plays Pong. 0511. A detailed story about a young 0511 peeing in his pants in front of his friends. Well, that's embarrassing. I'm going to read the whole thing. I don't care anymore. I'm going to read the whole thing. Dr. Bolo. 9021. The names given to every pig fetus dissected at blank high school between 1977 and 2014 in chronological order. Fetuses that were not given names by students are listed as John Swine, male, and Jane Swine, female. 4930, an extensive guide on how to conduct a speedrun of the video game Buck Bumble. The guide details numerous exploits and glitches players can use to get a finish time under 30 minutes, written in Middle-High German. Middle-High German, okay. 1102, an intricate drawing of a thumbprint claimed to be of an unnamed Scythian soldier. 7395, a newspaper advertisement detailing a perfume referred to as Rotten Delight. The advertisement claims that the perfume will cause men to drop like flies and that all the prettiest diptera swear by it. Basically, it kills you. 3921. A continuation of the previous samples that details how and where to apply the perfume, apparently intended to be read by flies in the family Dapanidia. Unlike the newspaper advertisement, the guide is written in Korean. 6743, a professional dissertation detailing the health benefits of adding amniotic fluid to baby formula. The dissertation gradually becomes more incomprehensible as it progresses, with the final section consisting of the phrase "let us drink, let us reap, let us thrive" repeated 1,192 times. The final page contained a diagram of an unknown protein. Dr. Clever Pork, what a name. 9583, a map of Hakodate, as it was in Hakodate, as it was in 1935. Locations are labeled in Creole of Ainu and Japanese. 9584, a list of all grocery stores in Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan, transcribed into inscriptional Pahlavi. 9585, the full names of all researchers at site 57 filled into a crossword grid. Clues for the crossword to refer to the personal events within their lifetimes, with the exception of Dr. Cunningham, whose clue is a series of random alphanumeric characters. 9586, a description of a small house in Madrid, Spain, written in Georgian, extending for 79 pages. Grammar gradually diverged from Standard Georgian, eventually becoming similar to that of the Lakota language. 9587, a 3-page transcript of a debate in Belgian Chamber of Representatives over building an embattled wall between Barl-Hertog and Barl-Nassau. At various points in the debate plan to introduce trained barrel owls. Strix area as gods are mentioned. 9588, a photorealistic drawing of a western burrowing owl, Athene cuniculare, flying over a field of sunflowers. The reverse of the paper contains a poem in Spanish declaring love for strawberries. I mean, look, we're almost reaching the end, and we still had like 4 minutes to go. So I would say, yeah, come on, let's finish the whole thing. Even though it's gonna take a while, but let's finish it. This will be a 3-hour stream. Oh well. 9589. Tomorrow I'm gonna be exhausted. A 35-page plan written in English transcribed into the Hebrew alphabet to replace the Statue of Liberty with an anthropomorphic lion while keeping the crown, tablet, and torch intact. I'm pretty sure in Zootopia that's the case. Dr. Langstorm, 2817, a script for an episode of Murder, She Wrote, with a plot revolving around the murder of an anarchist in Backdoor Soho, corresponds to an unsolved murder from 1997. 5291, a transcript of a lecture about the benefit of using live animals in the musical theater, highlighting the use of bears in 1965 film The Sound of Music as an example, written in Dutch. 4273, a 376-page literary analysis of the Harry Potter fanfiction My Immortal, praising the work as parody, calling it a cornerstone of early 21st century fan work. 8395, a grand proposal for funding to create a train system between Mars and Earth, citing a need for public transport, written in Autothon. Researcher Bunsen. So many researchers worked on this shit. Okay. 9643, binary code which compiles into a WAV file several alternate takes from the line Mission Hill, episode plan 9 from Mission Hill, or I married a gay man from outer space. Wally, I respect you too much to lie to you. 9644, an ATR script for what appears to be a Latin language dub of the Simpsons episode Homer's Enemy. 9645, a facsimile of junior researcher Janvir's birth certificate. 9646, the lyrics to Eknalubma by They Might Be Giants, transcribed in the International Phonetic Alphabet. 9647, a transcript of a conversation in an unidentified Andamanese language theorized by researcher bonds to be Sentinelese. 9648, a drawing and short biography of a non-existent Sanrio mascot's character Fandoro, an anthropomorphic elephant with a love for photography. 9649, with Folded Hands by Jack Williamson, translated into Welland language. 9650, a transcription of a Twitter status posted by researcher Moisken and on October 4th, 2000 blank. I spent quite frankly unreasonable amount of time reading Wikipedia articles about the history of German, which isn't even remotely connected into my field of study, engineering. Anyways, how was everyone else this day? Jesus, the lemonade is still inside me. 9651, the phrase "don't get fancy with the bread" repeated 2,271,966 times. Who counted that? 9652, a rubber hose animation style drawing of an LGBT pride event in a city identified by signature as New Jericho. 9653, a list of every Canadian citizen born on February 29th. Researcher Dr. Anderson Harper. See, we already had the last quarter. Like, I would have felt bad if we ended it here. Sample 1. 0000, the documentation for 40 SCP objects between 3001 and 39999 all have been designated SCP-3000. 1001, sheet music for what is ostensibly a Farsi cover of El Scorcho by the Philfist rock band Weezer. While the instrumentals match the original, the lyrics have been replaced with a Farsi translation of Nosferatu Man by Slint. 1002, page 6 of instructional guide for Super Smash Bros. Mandelbrot, written in Yiddish. Produced by SB978. 1003, a 198-page graphic novel depicting Japanese math rock band Tricop performing a concert inside of an abandoned warehouse. Several inactive automatons are scattered throughout the buildings. 1004, unknown analysis suggests the contents of sample 10004 constitute a potent anti-meme. 10005, a photorealistic drawing of Dr. Anderson Harper transcribing the sentence "unknown analysis suggests that contents of sample 10005 constitute a potent anti-meme" into notebook. 10006, a logical soundproof demonstrating that P equals NP in all problems were 1. The days of the week play a non-trivial role in the problem. 2. The problem in question begins and ends on a Tuesday. 10007, a logical soundproof demonstrating that P not equals NP in all situations not covered by samples. 10006, Dr. Simon. 10133, a 5-paragraph essay describing in great detail the importance of cooking meat in completely to its center. Essay references both non-anomalous and anomalous dangers of eating raw meat. It also references some anomalous benefits to eating completely cooked beef. 10134, a photorealistic drawing of SCP-524 eating a Polaroid photo of a regular rabbit eating a carrot. 534, which one was 534 again? Walter the Omnivore, yes, it was a rabbit. Yes. 10135, the previous two samples with every word in alphabetical order, including the bolded titles and the researcher title above them. 10136, a set of words set on top of each other. The following text is the words written by SB887. Bun, cheese, meat patty, lettuce, tomato, onion, bun. How to make a burger, basically. Oh, he puts the... Okay, interesting. 10137, a cartoonish image of a potato with 100 of human eyes lining its surface. That reminds me of Sausage Party, and anything that reminds me of Sausage Party should be burned. Not this SCP, this SCP is fine. 10138, stopping by woods on a snowy evening by Robert Frost, but the word horse is replaced with mule and the word village is replaced with hamlet. 10139, The phrase "Never forget the Alamo" above a picture of the flag of Texas. On the other side of the page, there is a detailed account of the Battle of the Alamo, which seemed to be from the point of view of the Mexican troops. 10140, a three-stanza poem where the point of view is that of the muddy puddle in the street. Nameless puddle reflects on its worth in the universe until a bird cheers it up by using it to bathe, mistaking the bird's simple action as something more complex. 10141, a postcard for Loveland, Ohio, with a cartoon image of local cryptid, the Loveland frogman on the right side. 10142, a drawing of a sailboat comprising of a half circle of the boat and a triangle with a line connecting it and the boat. For the sail, a wavy line goes horizontal through the boat, resembling waves, a photorealistic image of the giant squid seen looking at the boat from below. 10143, a lyric to Weird Al Yankovic parody song "Eat It" and a cartoonish image of Weird Al dressed like Michael Jackson in the music video for "Beat It." That is such a good one. Half a banana, half a whole bunch. It doesn't matter what you have for lunch, just eat it. Oh, it's such a good one. I need to watch that again. 10144, Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, written completely using onomatopoeia. 10145, a log of the lunar cycles for the next 3 years. Each changing phase has a little drawing of what the phrase looks like. 10146, a recipe to make a bread and cheese sandwich. 10147, a recipe to make a bread and cheese sandwich, featuring a cartoonish picture of a witch on the beach eating a bread and cheese sandwich. 10148, an accurate sleep schedule of Dr. Blanks from the month of October in 1980 blank. 10149, a Christmas card featuring SCP-999, SCP-2294, SCP-131. That one is not who I think it is. 131 is the iPods. Hey! Yeah, A and B, of course. And SCP-111 instances around the Christmas tree. The phrase "Merry Christmas" plays above this scene. Aren't these all the SCPs that are like harmless? Dragon snails. Yeah. Yeah. But that's cute. All the SCPs are basically cute, harmless beings just around Christmas. Just hey, that's cute. Researcher Binsworth. Why are we in the tens of thousands, dude? 10240, a hyper-realistic portrait of a former President Andrew Johnson, the year 1861. There's footnotes in this thing. Former President Andrew Johnson was impeached in 1860, as written underneath the drawing. 10251, a 5-step guide on how to perform a proper handshake. 10252, a drawing of SCP that is, with the text on Blink written in ominous font. A pile of 3 human corpses sits behind the sculpture. Yeah, we know 173. We know that one. Some of them you just can't forget the numbers. I should have not forgotten 131 though, especially 131A and B. I'm not sure if you can hear that. Something like ding happened above me, like in here, and I don't know what that was. 10253, a happy birthday message from an anonymous person named John Doe, which means unknown person. 10254, the lyrics from the song "Midnight," the stars and you from the film The Shining, 1980s. Well, 1980, written in a font like that of a 1940s typewriter. Lyrics are paired with the music score. 10255, a complex topography map of the Hawaiian island with labels showing the names of each island. We're almost there. Probably not like 10 to 15 minutes maybe. Researcher V. Especially if there's like so many, we're in the tens of thousands forever now, fuck. 10356, a proportional exact, albeit at 100th size scale diagram of a machine gun. The weapon appears to be intended to discharge a form of laser, but uses and often makes notes of unknown material of natural laws. Further, the ergonomics of the weapon are clearly not designed for human biology. Notes the language is written is mixed with several changes throughout, ranging from Chinese to older dialects of English to a cognito-hazardous script. 10357, a 5-page string of C++ code that cannot be run, but of which AIC analysis has concluded to generate program with the random generation of a Picasso-style painting. 10358. 2 pages excerpt of what appears to be an argument in extremely compressed text. A decompression key changes this into several terabytes worth of data. The subject appears to be an argument. Appears to be an argument on advanced artificial intelligence in which both parties use logical sound proofs that attack others. Notes: the compression algorithm used has been noted and considered for use in other applications. 10357. 777 page rewritten of the Bible appears to be a composite of all canons, uses New and Old Testaments. The script is enormously capable of being read regardless of lingual comprehension and known tongues. Illiterate persons appear to be rapidly educated and gain a college-level understanding of a random language. The text also will mildly compel readers to finish the book, and approximately 98% of the readers profess an increase in religiousness. Notes: the text appears to change based on the person as the best convinced them. Scientists will receive scientific analysis, religiously inclined, a mix of historical evidence and correlation between known history, science, and their faith. I'm sorry, getting winded. 10358, and manuscript entitled Shakespeare Complete Work as Written by Infinite Monkeys. And my tooth sure hurts. The manuscript is somewhat nonsensical, but its comprehensible analysis has found most of the plot to be without irregularity. 10358-9 diagram from the design of the 9mm handgun projectile of anonymous geometry capable of removing the capacity of aggression from the target. The bullet operates otherwise like a standard handgun round of that type. Testing has found that effects to be temporary but extremely potent. A single impact will cause the effects for approximately 1 minute, with additional ammunition appearing to extend the effects for up to 5 minutes. Note: the projectile only is effective against humans. Animals appear to have no effect. Samples submitted for a limited distribution among MTF personnel. Dr. Leroy Carlson. 10360. A complete transcript of every word spoken by 05. I'm so ashamed of not. Heart of Darkness. There's a huge cow heart with 4 spiny legs that can run extremely fast, has 10-foot long scorpion-like stingers, and can produce a human speech very resistant to damage, and was only contained initially because a building fell on it. The stinger can secrete an acid. I completely forgot about this one. It's also one that I don't fully remember anymore. How short was it? Wow. It's a famous one too, and I completely forgot about it. Between blank and blank and blank and blank, written on both sides of the single sheet of paper in such small letters that it is nearly illegible. 10361. The word "the" written in large ornate letters with various decorative designs drawn around, in particular the letter T. Is that a reference to SpongeBob? Where he was writing the essay, and the only thing he written was "the" and it's like really fancy too. 10362. The detailed step-by-step visual instruction for assembly of a Lego biological set. The set in question resembles Centrak, a combination of Sidorak and Ketongo sets, but heavily modified, including parts from a second Ketongo. We're almost there, guys. We're almost there. Look at this. We're almost there. Oh, you can't even see it because my face is in the way now. We're almost there. It's probably like 3 more scrolls. No, 2 more scrolls, I mean. 10363. Feeding and care instructions for a pet red beast, a dwarf Allosaurus, written in Basque. 10364. A list of seemingly random statements asserting that SCP-887 is a variety of object concepts and individuals, including bees, Davidics, utilitarianism, and the next big breakfast sensation. In each case, all words with the exception of SCP-887 have been crossed out. 10365. A drawing in style of Scooby-Doo. Where are you? Depicting Dr. Years, Dr. Light, Dr. Sin, Kirio, and Dr. Clef, and Professor Crowd dressed as Fred, Daphne, Velma, and Shaggy and Scooby, respectively, whose face was obscured by a large Scooby snack. I know what we're doing next Halloween, Dr. Bright. Absolutely not. Like, come on! Come on! 10366 is document reading, and then SCP-887 roll, and then SCP-887 roll, and so on and so forth. And then SCP, and does it change anywhere? And then SCP-887 roll, Dr. Lee, Roy Carlson's mobile phone number on a piece of paper, on a piece of paper, on a piece of paper, on a piece of blah, blah, blah. 10367, Dr. Lee Carlson's mobile phone number in Roman numerals. Well, that's enough of that, Dr. Lee. he gave up after he's like, okay, I'm done. Researcher Bronson, hey, he's back. The text of 16321, the text of Isaac Asimov, short story The Immortal Bard. 16322, un pescuejo del personaje titular de la película Mi Vecino Totoro el. It's all in Spanish. It probably is saying it is written in Spanish. 16321 3, the entire English language Pokédex from Pokemon Red and Blue, but with all the English Pokemon names replaced with romanized versions of the Japanese names. Hey, nice, cool. That's kind of neat. That's kind of neat. 16324, Researcher Bonson's grocery list. 16325, sheet music for a piano transcription of every song from the Fingertips series from the They Might Be Giants album. Apollo 18 lyrics are not provided. 16326, guitar tabulatore for Pokemon theme 3, which is commonly known as Gotta Catch 'Em All, with the lyrics translated into the Lyonese language. 16327, an unsolved nonogram puzzle. When solved, the picture formed as a QR code that links to a YouTube upload to song She Wants to Dance With Me by Rick Astley. But not never want to give you up. It's almost Rickrolled, but not fully. 16328, the entire text of the article Doomy Tales of the Macabre on the Homestar Runner wiki. Oh, thank you. It's only one more score, okay. Except that there's a red text here. 16329, a manuscript for the novel titled Giving Ram to the Romans, credited to Matt Paulson. The novel is written as a first-person account from a character named Marcus Abibus, a citizen of Imperial Rome, who, upon exiting a bathhouse, suddenly finds himself in Auckland, New Zealand in 2015. Soon after his arrival, he meets Professor Jonathan Richardson, a single father who teaches Latin at the University of Auckland. Marcus moves into Jonathan's house shortly thereafter. The novel focuses on Marcus learning to adapt to the 21st century as he falls in love with Jonathan, with a major source of conflict being Marcus's attempt to learn computer literacy and later computer programming in order to be accepted into the University of Auckland computer science program, a goal he has been passionate about ever since hearing Jonathan describe the mechanics of a computer. That's actually a pretty dope story. Somebody should make this real. 16330, the sentence, I hope whoever is reading this has a good day. Keep on keeping on. Hey, thank you, SCP-887. Researcher Pachi, 16360, a 54-page list of jokes guaranteed to knock your block off that are SCP-504 approved. Isn't SCP-504... Yes, that's why I thought it was the fucking Killer Tomatoes. That if you tell a joke to it, depending on how bad... depending on how horrible, or not how horrible, how much they dislike it, they come at you with high speed. But hey, apparently these are jokes that SCP-504 likes, so you should try that out. 16333, oh my god, I can't speak anymore. 16361, a phrase that appears to be a mild meme and the void is null. 16362, a 68-page string of C++ code which, when ran, creates a program of a simple jumping game with the goal being to avoid the apples bouncing across the screen. Notably, when making contact with an apple and receiving a game over, it was discovered that Dr. King would yell at random expletive towards apple seeds. Note: no, I do not care how amusing this is. We don't need to be causing other personnel to question their sanity. All testing of this program is to be prohibited. Oh, fine. Oh my god. Oh sweet Lord baby jeez, that was that. Ooh. We still got 2 more SCPs to read. Memory stones. I assume those are stones that have certain historic memory imprinted onto them, and if you touch those stones, that memory will flood into your mind. Please be short. After that whole read. Save. Hey, nice. A library located in blank Italy is partially built of blocks of SB888. That's a cool number to say, actually. It's in its full state, the portion of I mean, any SCP that's just the first number and then repeated is just fun to say. SCP-888, 666, 555, 444, 111, 777. Okay, 777 is a bit less fun, actually, now I think about it. In its full state, the portions of the building constructed of SCP-888 are designated as rare book storage. Only 3 senior librarians have access, and 2 of these are on the SCP payroll. The 3rd librarian is aware of the room's true purpose, but is a representative of and licensed to blank blank. A second sample of empty SCP-888 remains in the vault beneath the library where it was originally discovered. Access to this vault has been rerouted through the rare book room, and all other passageways to it have been sealed with reinforced concrete. At this time, no additional containment measures are deemed necessary. Description: SB888 is a mineral composite similar to a rare red quartzite found only in blank Russia. However, SB888 also contains trace amounts of unidentified organic compounds. This stone exhibits the capacity for large-scale data storage within its molecular lattices. SB888 exists in 2 distinct states, hereafter referred to as empty and full. In its empty state, SB888 is called a pale oh my god, my nose is so goddamn itchy. Pale pink and is slightly translucent. In the full state, the color deepens to a darker red, and the stone becomes completely opaque. See the attached image. It is theorized that these changes result from the realignment of the molecular lattices to contain the store detailed at this time. The sources of this stone is undetermined. SB888 reacts to the presence of sapient beings and appears to require direct skin contact to function. If a thinking creature touches an empty sample of SB888, the stone removes a memory from the subject and stores that memory in itself, converting to the full state in the process. The original memory is lost to the subject. One of the early test subjects described the experience as like losing a tooth. You know, there used to be something there, but all that's left is a bloody hole. Testing has confirmed that it is possible to loosely direct what memory is excised by concentrating on a specific memory before touching the stone. If a subject handles a sample of SCP of 888 with no specific thought in mind, the memory loss is essentially random, though it might be chosen by the subject's subconscious. So you could use this as a amnestic, if you think about it. But I guess it's stored, it doesn't go away. Unless you find a good way to to delete the storage, which I guess in this case would be to let a D-class take it who is about to be terminated. I have personally confirmed that the donor retains no access to the lost memory. However, related memories seem to be unaffected. I can no longer recall seeing the movie blank blank, but I do recall that it was the worst film I ever seen, Dr. Blank. If a subject instead touches a full stone, the subject experiences the memory contained within it firsthand. So can you take it back, or is it just like on? Oh my god, why is it my? Oh, it's so goddamn itchy. Subject report that the experiences is completely real. To them during replay, as long as the subject remains in contact with the stone, the memory continuously loops, with each subsequent replay possessing the same emotional impact, as if every repetition were the first time. Contact by the original memory donor does not restore the memory. Instead, subject experiences a dissociative state in which the memory reportedly feels like a story someone told me, or something I dreamed about. Before and after MRI scanning seems to indicate that the memory transfer process causes cellular death in the subject's brain. The exact mechanism is unknown at this time, but it is theorized that the transference causes a burst of electrical activity in the cells which originally contained the data, essentially cauterizing minor portions of the brain tissue. Playback causes no analogous damage to brain tissue. However, the replayed memory are so vivid that some test subjects have exhibited psychosomatic responses such as blisters rising on a hand which was burned in the memory. Makes sense. Samples smaller than 8 cubic centimeters lack the ability to retain data and are unable to absorb or replay memory. Aside from this minimum operational size, there appears to be no correlation between the size of the samples and the amount of data which can be stored. If a full sample of 888 is reduced by mechanical means into fragments smaller than 8 cubic centimeters, the recorded data is lost when the store becomes inert. The original host does not regain the lost memory. However, if a full sample of 888 is separated by mechanical means into fragments larger than the 8 cubic centimeters, each fragment retains the full mnemonic content of the original sample. Construction of the original building was commissioned in 15 blank by Patrizio Blank of Blank, Italy. Records of the construction, such as the source of the stone used and the identity of the architect, were lost in the fire at Villa Blank. Historical accounts claim that the fire was set by Signora Blank for reasons unknown. The fire claimed the lives of all present in the Blank manor. It is therefore unclear whether the presence of SB-888 in the construction was intentional, and if so, what the purpose of its inclusion might have been. The current storage site originally contained roughly 1 cubic meter of empty stone, which was previously housed in a sealed vault of ordinary granite. This cache was discovered by Father Blank Blank, who was cataloging the occupants of the catacombs attached to this library. Unfortunately, his initial contact was with a small chip broken off when the vault was unsealed, and the main mass of stone was therefore left untouched. Fr Blank contacted Blank Blank, the occult research division of Blank Blank. However, once it was determined that SCP is not redacted, Blank would contact the local SCP liaison. Testing consumed approximately 1/3 of this supply before a functional minimum was determined. As of this writing, several fragments of roughly 18 cc's have been separated from the main mass and are set aside for testing purposes. Because the amount of stone available is sharply limited, all testing must be approved by the head researcher assigned to SB-888, Dr. Blank, or his superiors. Special note: research into the content of the filed stones used to construct the library is ongoing. There appears to be rough chronological order in the layout of the building, with newer stones near the south entrance, proceeding top to the bottom, south to north, towards older memories. As more information becomes available, it will be logged in file SCP-888 archives. I'm so exhausted from from SCP-887 reading. Last but not least, hybridization. So, multiple fusions of different animals, but like constantly changing, or maybe it's just multiple different fusions, like cats and dogs, snakes and fish, whale and worm. I don't know. That's the best I can come up with. It's not short, but it's also not long, so I can definitely do this. There's no extra part. Euclid. We're back to Euclid, baby. We're back to Euclid. SB-889 has been completely sealed with concrete save for single airlock entrance for research purposes. The building is surrounded with a standard security fence and written warnings under the cover of a government medical research facility. For the next 1 year, a mobile task force is to take bi-monthly sweeps of the surrounding countryside, and any containment products of SB-889 are to be neutralized and or captured and brought to Bioresearch Area 32. Local rumors or sightings concerning strange animals are to be pursued with utmost diligence. A quarterly swab is to be made of the interior of SCP-889 if any prokaryotes are discovered exhibiting the effects of SCP-889, or if any staff member members contract an unusual illness. SCP-889 is to be incinerated and sealed indefinitely. All staff members and equipment are to be decontaminated fully. Description: SCP-889 is an abandoned cattle barn located several miles north of blank, Montana, USA. A series of farming buildings in various states of disrepair surround SCP-889. No signs of human habitation are nearby, and no information is available concerning current or previous owners. Within SCP Within SCP-889, a combination of... Thank you, lights, for shining brighter after I hit my chest. And my nose is unbearably itchy. Within SCP-889, a combination of male and female animal or plant gametes form. Any two species produces viable offspring. This process occurs through a novel rearrangement of chromosomes during fertilization. In cases where gametes of different genome size or of different ploidy meet, chromosomes are often doubled or combined. The full extent of the progression is still under research. While mechanical considerations such as animal size, genital structure, and internal versus external fertilization often prevent the similar species from mating, methods of artificial fertilization are effective in 90% of trials. Combination of genes and traits in offspring conceived within SCP-889 are generally evenly split between the male and female parents. However, biological aspects such as body size, blood type, and homeostasis are necessarily parallel to the female parent. Hybrids are in all cases sterile, and there is a direct correlation between the genomic dissimilarity of parents and the lifespan and genetic fitness of offspring. SCP-889 has also exhibited limited capacity to interfere with the intra-species recognition of animals, making non-conspecific animals within SCP-889 much more likely to attempt to mate. For this reason, care should be taken when exposing human beings to SCP-889. The SCP-889 has not demonstrated any observable effect on asexual or unicellular organisms. Cross-testing between kingdoms has been similarly unsuccessful. SCP-889 is maintained under the jurisdiction of Bioresearch Site 32. A small breeding facility has been erected near SCP-889 to provide test animals and laboratories capabilities. Experiment log A. A number of hybridizing experiments were conducted between blank 2009 and blank 2010 using SCP-889. All experiments were conducted using artificial insemination. A selection of relevant tests is included below. Experiment 1, 2009. Male parent, albino laboratory rat, Ratus noveticus, and albino laboratory rat, Ratus, okay. Gestation time 21 days. Number of offspring 7. Notes: this experiment was conducted as a control. Results were normal, adult offspring healthy, average 22 centimeters in length. So that was like, just be like, okay, let's just take some normal first and see what happens. But now we go to test or experiment 2. Same year. Male parent is an American cockroach, and female parent is the albino laboratory rat. Albino laboratory, not even a rat, just a laboratory. 21 days. Number of offspring 14. Adult offspring 15 centimeters in length, brownish, chitinous, segmented, hexapedal, tailless, more skittish than standard lab rats. Mouth parts are irregular and in some cases useless. Dissection revealed standard mammalian homeothermic system. Experiment 3. Male parent bull, female parent cat. Gestation time 98 days. Number of offspring 1. Adult offspring 50 centimeters in length. Exhibits bovine skull, facial structure, feline body type size. Notably less agile than average cat. Prefers to feed upon grass. Dissection reveals the typical bovine pregastric rumen. Experiment 4. Male parent Butcheriger. What is a Butcheriger? And the female parent is Atlantic salmon. What the fuck is it? Is this? Oh, that's how you say it. That's what you named that. Okay. The gestation time 19 days. Offspring 12. Adult offspring average 40 centimeters in length. Greenish blue. Scales are striated and elongated, causing considerable drag in water. Pectoral fins are extended and wing-like. Use pectoral fins for awkward flight movement rather than standard flexion-driven swimming. Specimens have small curved beaks and preferentially feed by scraping algae from rocks. Almost midnight where I am. Experiment 5, 2009. Male parent sweet corn. Female parent western red. Wait, cheddar? No. Red cat? What? I can't even read. Okay. And sweet corn. Germination time varied. Number of offspring 257. Offspring plants show extreme variation between specimens, but have been roughly classified into several broad varieties. Corn trees, otherwise normal red cheddar specimens that yield ears of corn instead of normal cones. Analysis revealed kernels to be non-toxic. Test subject described the taste as odd but not bad. Cone stalks, otherwise normal cone specimens, which grows early and close by hard scales. Kernels similar to those from 5.1. Cone trees, otherwise normal red cellular specimens, which produce small ears of corn enclosed in hard scales instead of normal ones or normal ears. Resultant corn was described by test subject as disgusting. 5.4. Red cellular stalks organisms with herbaceous corn-like central stems and woody red cellular-like lateral branches. 5-5. Variegated red cellular trees which produce both green and yellow needles. Yellow needles are in fact heavily modified corn kernels, which are not arranged into any flower or cone-like structure. Cornbread made from these needles were described by testers as delicious. 5-6. Hard corn plants producing kernels with tough bark-like shells. 5-7. Needle corn plants producing kernels similar in shape to the two southern needles and otherwise conventional ears. Variety 5-7-2 also possess a woody trunk. Yearly growth cycles in a variety of species 889-5 have tended to mirror those of more genetically similar parent in each case. While all hybrids produced using SP889 are sterile, reproduction by cutting and tissue culture is successful. The resulting specimens displayed no unusual variation from the mother plant. Rehybridization using the first generation offspring of transplanted individuals has not been attempted. Experiment 889-8-9 through 16 were conducted on the Falco project. Access restricted. We done it. This was nearly a 3-hour stream of reading. Actually, no. This was definitely more interesting than there. Okay. Here it is. Even though I spend most of the time reading Hypergraphia, I will say that Shaving Mirror and Nanny, for me, just were a bit more entertaining to read. A Shaving Mirror is just like the idea of like different objects that you use to shave having different abilities is very dope. I think that's very dope, and it's very and also I like the imagery that they are constructed by ivory and metal from like the 1917. So, and then there's a whole lore behind like how they lost more. It's not an SCP that you just simply get all the SCPs and like, oh, the Foundation has all of them. No, there's actually like there was a fight, and now the Chaos Insurgency has some of them, and some of them have been are destroyed, and even Marshall Call and Dog have the 3D paws all over them as well. So I like that. And Nanny was just very, like it just took me back so much. I was like, what? When I first read it, I was just like, I cannot believe that this is what a nanny is supposed to be about. A woman giving birth to goats, and goats giving birth to humans. It's just, like, come on, that's that's great. You can easily make like a. It's almost like a Rosie's Baby. Is that what? Oh. No, what's the movie called? Horror movie Rose Baby, or was it Rose's Baby, or was it? I forgot what it's a famous horror movie. It's in the same line as Omen. So similar. The Exorcist, Poltergeist. Get rid of this. Rosemary's Baby. I forgot it's Rosemary's Baby. So like Rosemary's Baby, like at the end it's like indicate that the baby's like a demonic thing, right? And or like it's like a demon in general. Oops, there we go. It's a demon in general, right? And one depiction of demon or Satan was that he has like he's like half goat. So that's this kind of reminded me of that. Habagarthia, yes. This was a long, entertaining read, especially like some of the stuff that were funny in the like the Pokemon guide and the Simpsons episode and the Scooby-Doo and all that stuff. But I mean, at the end, it's a guy who draws a lot, draws and writes a lot. That's why I was like, while the things that they have transcribed is hilarious and some of them actually really cool, like the Roman guy coming to the future and falling in love with a professor, and then he learns he learns about computer and all that stuff, so he can go into the college. I think that's pretty cool shit. But that's why I put it a bit lower rating wise, because like again, it's a guy drawing and writing nonstop compared to a mirror that makes you think you didn't shave, so you just with added other shit like the eraser that just cuts space and it cuts diamonds. It cuts diamonds, okay? that is hard to beat. A thing that cuts diamonds and a nanny and a woman that gives birth to goats. That's very hard to like top. A machine, yes, a machine is actually very close to Habagraphia, because just like the story that the interview was very, I think it was written really well, and I definitely felt for the guy. Like he lived in a village, everything was fine, then this thing comes along. It's only the father, the priest says some stuff like this is a god's this guy is a god's creation. I mean, he is for sure, but that SCP. And next thing you know, people are like just throwing metal, and then after a while they're like, oh, we don't have any metal left. So some of you have some metal fillings though, and metal hip, right? And next thing you know, they just go crazy. And now we also know what happened to the village, because the village does say that there was nobody alive anymore when the Foundation found this thing at the village, because they probably all sacrificed themselves or jumped into that machine, because they probably witnessed that when the machine ate I forgot the guy's name, that the father was like, oh, you have a metal hip, when they probably witnessed that the machine took him in, and they're like, what if this is a way to reach God? And then just jumped into that thing, you know? Hybridization. I mean, come on. It's always fun to think of ideas of how like combine animals. That's what Chimera is all about. I mean, don't do the Full Metal Alchemist Chimera. Don't do that shit. But like other chimeras, like, you know, the body of a lion with the wings of a hawk or an eagle, and so on and so forth. You know, that shit's cool. That shit's cool. Little people. Honestly, I put that. This was much higher before. Of course, then this was before I read the other stuff. But I just liked that that one of the doctors got fully karma, full on karma towards him. He deserved that. He deserved that. Well, okay, he didn't deserve to die, but he pushed those humans that far. So it's self-defense, and it's what he gets. Karma hits him hard. And do I want murder to happen? No, of course not. But that guy, he asked for it. Extra dimensional beehive. I really like the idea that the beehive, the moment you enter in, is just like kilometers long. Like it could be endless. You don't know. We don't know. The Foundation has stopped going after 6.5 kilometers, but it could be endless. And the bees just are different and different and different throughout traveling further in. It feels like an alien planet almost, where you see something that you recognize, but then the further down to the down the rural areas you go, the more like weird things pop up. Memory stones, yeah, no, I like the idea that you can just touch a stone and it's just. But as we found out, the stone then just keeps the memory until somebody else touches it. So it's as I said, I think it would be a good way to get rid of like traumatic memories for like or like use it as amnestics basically. And then if you want to get rid of the memory completely so you can have another refill of the stone, just give the memory to a D class that you're about to terminate, and then yeah, the memory is gone. It's finito. It's gone. Trapped winter. Yeah, no. As I said, I'm a winter person. I like the idea that it's just an area that feels like it's always snowing. Oh no, it feels like for a certain 2 hours that there is snow happening, but there isn't. But there is still snow there. So see, that's why I mean, like it jumps a bit back and forth. Like it doesn't snow, but it feels like it's snowing. You're like, okay, so it's like a field of grass, and they're like, no, but there is snow there. It's like, so it doesn't snow, but it feels like it's snowing, and snow exists there already. Right? So yeah, living vacuum, yes. Honestly, I almost forgot about this one. And it's not a bad SCP. I'm not saying that. It's just that it's one of those things where like I am just not smart enough. I'm not smart enough to understand like what all the effects of a vacuum is to a human person. I'm pretty sure some people who understand space and vacuums and all that stuff, they're like, oh, I kind of like this one. But for me, I was just like, I like the idea what it does to people, and that it's apparently on the hunt. I like that, because especially it's like, it's invisible, you don't see it. But at the same time, I'm just like, yeah, but I don't know the significance of a vacuum too well to commentate on this more. All right, guys, we have reached the end. 3 hours and 1 minute of, 3 hours and 2 minutes now of streaming. Got a mustache here in my mouth. Tomorrow we will finish the 800s. I hope you all enjoyed today's stream. I hope you have a good morning, afternoon, evening. I am exhausted. I need to eat something, and I'll see you all tomorrow. The Afro is with you.